What in the world just happened? What just happened, everybody? What did we experience for the last 4 hours of bliss? Gene Williams, Warchant.com's founder administrator. My name is Tom Lang. We're back for another season of Warchant Game Days post-game call-in show on Warchant TV. My voice is already a little bit hoarse. So tonight, Florida State's 1-0. Florida State took it to Alabama. Florida State was more physical on the ground. Gene's got a number he's going to share with you in just a moment about what they did on the ground versus what Alabama did rushing offense-wise. Florida State was nasty. Florida State was fun. And Florida State is a winner again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Warchant Game Day post-game call-in show built by T-Spark Enterprises. Gene, the floor is yours. What a night to be a Florida State Seminole.
Giddy frickin' up, man. This is awesome. And it's not – look, you beat Alabama, and what's just stunning to me and so frickin' great is you out-physicaled Alabama. You wanted it more than them. That run by Gavin Sowchuk there, that just – man, it's such a 180 from everything we saw last year. It's like someone just paused 2023 to now because this team had chutzpah. They had fight. They wanted it more. They out-coached Alabama. They wanted – all across the board – unbelievable. How about hats off? And I know we're going to talk a lot about Tommy Castellanos and what they did. How about Tony White's defense? After that first drive, effectively shutting them down time and time again and coming through on big plays. Unbelievable. And then just to see Alabama being on their heels because of what Gus Malzahn was able to do to them on play after play after play and getting your talented guys, Tom, in positions to make plays, get Mekhi Danzy out there in the open field. You know he's fast, so why not get him out there, see what he can do? It's so refreshing to see that and have a quarterback talk the talk, and now he's walked the walk. He talked crap about Alabama. Everybody was shuddering. Everybody was so upset. How dare you say this? You're going to upset them. They're going to come in all fired up. No, he showed, he backed it up. And that is so freaking great to see. And like you mentioned, I want to give this stat out. And I could have probably bet everything I owned, someone would say this would happen. And I go, no freaking way. Rushing yards in this game. Florida State, 230 yards against the vaunted SEC kingpin, Alabama. Alabama rushing yards with that huge offensive line and all those running back stable. They got 87 yards, 230 to 87. Unbelievable, Tom.
We are going to stick to the positives on the Florida State side, but I just want to share some photos of some scenes.
Let's enjoy. We got to revel in a little bit.
Director Nick Carlisle behind the scenes making his debut. Let's see some of those fans in the stands from the visitors' side. Director Nick, what do we got here? Oh, confused, unsure of what the hell they're watching. Let's go with another one. Exhibit number 2. Yes, head in your hands. That Nole fan is trying to keep from smiling behind. You see that Nole fan with the visor on? She's very happy behind that gentleman who's asking himself what the heck is going on. Exhibit 3.
I remember that one. That was awesome.
Oh, no. And probably my favorite one. This is a vertical photo that my sister Elizabeth took on her own television. Please, everybody. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Double birds, baby. Outstanding. And here's one that I added. I'm gonna pull this one up for everybody. Drink it in.
Oh yeah, can we run the Feinbaum quotes? What did he say? 3-4 touchdowns. What was his ridiculous comment?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't listened to him.
I
in a long time.
Somebody only posted. I only saw because I don't listen to him, but somebody posted on the board that he was making his typical asinine comments about how Florida State doesn't belong on the field. They're going to beat him by 3-4 touchdowns.
We usually get to the analysis straight away. First of all, just welcome in, everybody. We are so happy you're here. And as I said this week on the channel, I was hoping for a result that you could be proud of out there. Look, we do this for a living, and we're Nole grads and Nole fans, just like you. But y'all have really been through it the last 20 months. What a night. Bask in this. Really enjoy it. Hug your loved ones. Call your dad. Pour another beverage. And I want to get to that right now because, Gene, you have what is called the Gene Drinkometer that we're going to unveil.
Yes, and this was made earlier in the week, so I'm not just pulling this out now. So I think we can go ahead and share that with people. And my drink of the day post-game will depend on the results of Florida State. Now, it will change for every game, obviously, but I put it out there. We got to have a bourbon or a scotch with the win. You can see we go all the way down to non-alcoholic beer or water in a bad loss. But that did not happen today, boys and girls.
Nope. Let's break it out, Gene.
This is a win. Let's get it. As a good friend of mine, Drew, gave me this as a birthday gift recently. And I'm not a bourbon guy, but whatever. It's Colonel Taylor. People may know what this is. So we got this. We got the little, we got the ball, ice cube ball going here. So we're going to start pounding some brown liquor.
Here we go. All right.
Celebrate this win, baby.
I am sharing in the celebration with Eugene as I've got Lagavulin Distillers Edition right there.
Nice.
There you go. Aged in sherry casks. This is my favorite scotch that I own. Ooh. And just because of the nature of the win, I'm going to swig it out of the bottle for the first one. All right.
Tom, cheers, buddy. How about them Noles?
Oh, that is smooth. I shouldn't do that anymore because it's very expensive, and I'm not going to do that moving forward. I do have a beer. Thank you. I also have a beer at my side here as well that I'll be swigging a little bit more vigorously as we go on. Cheers, everybody. We're going to remind you as time goes on this postgame show, I'm going to guess we're going to be on the air for a little while here tonight, that it is a social time to raise a glass. And look, if you're somebody who does not partake in alcohol, that's fine. Raise a snack, raise perhaps a vape. I don't know what it is that you love, but we all want to get in on this together, and we're so glad that you're here on Warchant TV for another year of the postgame show. And shout out to T-Spark Enterprises. I'm not doing the live read just yet, but they went through 2-10 with us.
They hung with us after 2-10. We had, Tom, for the whole year commiserating with so many fans, with so many loyal fans coming on doing the show, and they stuck with us through that. We commiserated. Now it's different. We're celebrating, and T-Spark, one of them. Thank you for hanging with us, and thank everybody who hung with us last year. We're going to have some fun this year, it looks like. Go Noles! So, it's so good when it hits the lips.
Let me ask you, I had to mute myself for the cough there. Gene, what is Florida State football right now? Who is this team, and how would you define them after 60 minutes?
They're a team they've got some what for to them. That's what you saw in this game. They are well coached, but they're fighting. They're out there. They are scratching and clawing and doing everything they can to get that win. They're physical. Just to see on both sides of the ball, and I think we've seen the difference I think they made a couple key adjustments. I think, first of all, the coordinators. Early on, I know it's one game. Alabama may suck. We'll see. But, there's no doubt Florida State is dramatically different from last year, regardless of what happens the rest of the season. We've already seen that. And to me, it just shows all the coaches from last year, what a dramatic improvement they've had in these guys. What they may be able to do, not only to bring in the right kind of guys, not the guys that are going to quit or here to collect a paycheck, the guys who are going to fight, the guys who are going to pick up a system and learn, and the guys who are going to have leadership out there. That's Tommy Castellanos. Again, a lot of my friends, and they've been to you, Tom, and they were complaining about Tommy shooting his mouth up. I go, this is so refreshing after last year. And I hate to throw him under the bus, but the quarterback FSU had last year, and he just was not a leader. He was not fiery. When things were going wrong, team would not rally around him. He did not go out and seek to fire people up. And now you've got someone who does that. And on the defensive side of the ball, there were several guys out there. What a great game for Earl Little. It was his former team, Tom. To see him flying around out there, making plays. And I love the upfront stunning. I know you may get more into that because I know you love to watch the trenches. Some of the stuff Tony White was doing up front with the stunts up front because, they were bigger. There's a lot of NFL guys up there on that line. And you've got smaller guys, but they were disrupting a lot of things. And hats off to Alabama's quarterback, man. That dude, now he didn't throw great passes a lot of times when he was on the run and pressured, but man, he got out of a lot of stuff that he had no business getting out of.
That's the best thing he did tonight was scramble because he's not a very accurate passer.
And in the pocket, he's okay. Scrambling, he can't throw in the run.
And you could see it in his eyes. That was the talk before this game started was his composure. It's what Ryan Grubb spoke about, and his concerns was Ty Simpson's composure. You saw him lose composure, especially in that third quarter. There was a stretch there where he looked like he wanted to cry on the field. And you know what? You don't cry on the field or feel like you want to without somebody imposing their will, and that's Florida State's defense. I want to give a shout out at the outset here to Spartan 71 Ralph from Hawaii, who will be on he's one of our great callers, longtime callers and a friend of the Warchant Network. He gave us, or by us, I mean me, what is this, like some sort of royal court? He gave me a ticket today, and I went for the first quarter and 10 minutes of the second quarter, and I felt the feelings. When the band took the field in the pregame, I got weepy because I always do. I love this university. I love Florida State football so much. And when I watched that defense take the field on that first drive, I know it ended in a touchdown, But Gene, I'm here to tell you, and Ralph can corroborate this. I was thrilled with the way that drive went, because I saw a buttoned up operation. The communication chain, if y'all want to go back and watch this game, I bet a lot of you will. Go take a look at that first drive. It's 9 minutes, and Alabama ends up scoring. You will see remarkably efficient communication from the defensive backs, one side of the field to the other, trickling down to the linebackers, using hand signals because it was so damn loud in Doak Campbell Stadium. That was as professional a communication that I have seen in a long time. And Bama had to go 9 minutes like they were a service academy, Gene, to even score a touchdown on an opening drive, which was a great sign.
It could be, what, 2 third downs and a fourth down?
That's correct. And it was off-schedule plays, off-platform plays, because it ended up being Simpson runs that were not designed for him to run. Everything was covered in the back end. We were just having some trouble getting into the backfield and getting him on the ground, which was it was a theme today, but that wasn't enough for Alabama. And then obviously what Florida State does to respond, and you have that bomb pass on a 3rd and 10 to Squirrel White, the place goes absolutely berserk. That was the play when I knew, okay, this is different. They're not last year. I knew they weren't last year's team, but to see it up there, and you were there for that, Tom, so I'm happy you got to experience it. I'm sure some people are going to call in soon. We'll open the phone lines later, but I want to hear what that stadium was like. I got to, we get to listen to Tessitore and Palmer. I know they're not our favorite people for several reasons we're not going to get into, but they were talking up the crowd and saying they may have lost 20,000 in capacity, but this sounds like there's 20,000 more people in this stadium. So I want to hear what that new stadium was like, not only the amenities, the atmosphere, how loud it really was, because you hear a lot of criticism. Well, they dropped the capacity down. From what I could tell on TV, Tom, and you were there, it seemed as loud. Any big game, it seemed loud as ever. I can tell you, yes. So where I sat, Ralph's seats are near the tunnel where Florida State comes out, just next to the student section. So I get a good swath of alumni level fans and then student section fans just to my left. That sounded, it reminded me, it wasn't quite on the same decibel level, I don't think, but it reminded me of Oklahoma in 2011, especially if you think about on that first drive. You have a false start that's clearly due to they cannot communicate with each other, and then they have to bail out on a delay of game with a timeout. Also, again, on that first drive, that place was coming apart at the seams. And then what I love, Gene, today was not one of those Gus Malzahn is trying to run 100 plays tempo days, but when he used it, he was judicious and it was effective. That first touchdown,
they were not ready for it. Yeah.
They were not ready. And I will tell you something, I was not ready for it because I was looking at the Jumbotron to see if Squirrel caught the ball. I wanted to make sure that was a catch because he dove for it. And as I'm still looking, I hear people starting to get loud. I turn around and Castellanos is at the 5. He's at the 4. He's at the 3, and he scores.
Yeah.
Gus picked his spots in the first half with that tempo, and that was impressive. I just come away in love with this football team. I do, because they were physical.
Yeah.
Because they had heart and guts. Gene, I know that you probably wouldn't advise this, but how about that 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter when you
I'm seeing that. In hindsight, obviously a good call, and that may have been the difference because at that point, I think that kind of effectively sealed it at that point. But, man, you do not go for it on your 34-yard line. But you know what? Norvell's burned us so many times making those calls. It was bound to work one time. But the one thing I will say, I hate analytics when they talk about this stuff. Everything is determined on what's happening in that game with that line and that position. Florida State line was getting a push. So it wasn't like they were being dominated. I think there's 1 tackle for loss in the game, if I'm correct, Tom. Alabama had 1 tackle for loss the entire game. So the fact that you needed half a yard, it's not as bad. What I had a problem with in previous years when you were getting stoned every single time when you tried to run between the tackles and you were going for it on a 4th and 2 and you weren't going to get it. So I get it. It was ballsy.
It was.
But you're playing, you're playing Alabama. You're going for a huge upset. So, I get it.
Well, I love everything about how that play transpired. In the moment when he decided to go for it, I thought, did Tommy not get it? Should we not review that first on the 3rd down scramble? But now they're going. And it's a trucking in the hole, Gene.
Yes.
And I go back and, folks, again, you're going to watch this game again. I'm sure you will on a Labor Day weekend. We got a couple of days to celebrate this. Luke Pettibone on that play.
Oh, I was going to tell you. I want to bring up Pettibone to you, Tom, because I know you're a trench guy and talk about his play.
Yep. Well, they missed Keenan, first of all. Alabama definitely missed Keenan. But on that play, there you go. It's mano-a-mano. But the reason it's one-on-one for Roydell in that situation is because Luke Pettibone won his rep against the interior defensive lineman. Usually a center needs help He did not need help. He drove
No.
that kid back. And again, that relieved a lot of pressure in the building because Florida State was up 24-7 in this game. You've got a real chance to blow them away. The muff punt didn't come back to bite you because Alabama doesn't score on that drive, but it neutralized the momentum. And at that point, you're wondering to yourself,
you're thinking the game's about over.
I mean, Gene, I'm thinking of that moment. How about 3 more points? Can they just get to 27? Because I think if you could push it to 2 scores, you're going to be fine here. But they needed something to energize everything in the building again and get people feeling less nervous. And that 4th down play did it. Today was just a remarkable day, a breath of fresh air, a relief for all involved. We're going to take your calls in a little bit here. We'll wipe it up on the screen in about 5 minutes. We've got a new phone number this year. So a new phone number, if you save
people have been calling into the old phone number going, what's going on?
I hope that person doesn't have like a Verizon account and it's a private citizen now because they're getting destroyed with calls. Josh in New York is saying, who is this? Is this not Terry? No, it's somebody else. We'll have a new phone number for you in a moment, but we do want to thank a lot of people who donated so far on the Warchant Game Day Show presented by and built by T-Spark. Eric, awesome stuff, man. You heard the Shane O'Mac music before. We're going to add some music as thank you. So go ahead, Director Nick. You can hit it again.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Thank you, Eric. We're proud of them, too.
So proud of this team. They figured out how to win. Thank you so much, Eric Rabbit. We appreciate your support, and we hope you have a good time over the next hour and a half here on Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In Show. Johnny Zeno Bringarner. I remember you. Gene, as you can tell, the handles have changed on YouTube, but I remember Zeno. Thank you very much. Took all of one FSU touchdown drive before Tessitore made it plain that Alabama was banged up on the defensive line. What an ass clown. I was wondering if he did enough today to wipe away the sins of 2023. I didn't think so, but Johnny Zenol says, hell to the no. Thank you so much. And also, I want to add this, too. He became a member of Warchant Premier.
Hey,
thank you very much.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. All right, let's see Justin Coburn. Earl Little Jr. was a torpedo.
Yes, he was.
The defense was flying and laying it all on the line. Beautiful. Don't like we tightened up in the 3rd, but we got it done. Go Noles. It did feel like it got a little tight there. Even the play calling, it was very conservative. But you know what? All's well that ends well. Florida State was playing.
But how much they're not used to being in this position, Tom?
Yes, they were playing from in front. We will take the fact that Florida State was playing
We're leading
from in front.
the top 10 team by 2 scores late in the game. What do? We don't have a play sheet for this.
I thought in the 4th quarter maybe Earl might have been a targeting violator there, but hey, the ACC official said no, so he lives to play another first half.
They're just buttering us up for when we're in the conference. They're trying to give us a little extra, so we want you guys to go to the Big Ten. We want you in the SEC.
Evan Land, that sounds like a fun country. Thank you very much. Let's go Noles. Absolute domination. Crowd was rocking. Offense was humming, and defense was violent. So glad to see it. Everybody was violent. Ashlyn Barker today, extremely violent play. How about Jabril Rawls with the stoning?
Rawls had a couple big stops. That stop on 4th down, yes. He had another big stop later on, too.
That is putting your body on the line. Yes, he had a couple of big stops. He did have the missed tackle on Alabama's touchdown to push it to 24-17, but he responds right away. He comes back, and there it is, a chance for Alabama to move the chains. It's 31-17. They're probably not going to come all the way back, but you don't care. If you can get the stop, get it there. He puts his body on the line, makes a play. A lot of guys flying around like torpedoes. Thank you so much for your contribution. Noles fan, hey, Marty, what's going on? Happy birthday. I think your birthday's coming up. If not, never mind. I predicted this. I might change my season prediction from 11-1 to 12-0 after the Miami game. Go Noles. Dare to dream, everybody. We're going to be able to sit on this victory for a little while yet. You never take any opponent for granted.
You don't know in college football these days. I have so many people. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for everybody that came out to Corner Pocket for our event. I got to meet so many good people and fans that we've been seeing for years and some new friends. We got to meet out there and obviously at Indigo and everywhere before. But I even wanted to ask you, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. This team could be great.
Yeah.
It could be mediocre. We just don't know because new coaches, new players. But that's the thing. That's why Indiana and Arizona State can go from 3 wins to being in the college football playoff because it can go both ways. We saw the negative last year. It could go the other way this year. This could be just the start of something special.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You mentioned Corner Pocket, Gene. That's going to be a fun place to be, not only tonight. It'll be a little wild tonight. Very wild.
Might have to sneak out there after this. I don't know.
I will tell you, though, tomorrow for that Miami-Notre Dame game, oh, my God. That's one of the
what
best
a great
places.
weekend that can be. I know everybody here's an Irish fan, I hope. I'm not usually one, but I am tomorrow.
Yeah. Agreed on all fronts. Not usually, but tomorrow, why the hell not? UWF engineer. There we go. I got there. Let's go, Noles. TC backed it up. He did. Yep. Nick Saban was not there to save them. The O-line was great. 230 yards rushing. Yep, that was Gene's stat of the evening. Surprise of the night, the defense. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Tony White, that's Tony White's bank account. That wasn't just a sounder for us. That's Tony White's bank account. He made a lot of money.
I had sitting with a couple buddies watching the first, and they started talking about this. So like, how soon are those coordinators going to be, or how long are they going to be around at Florida State? I'm like, oh boy, if they keep this up, it may not be very long. They both might be gone soon.
I'll tell you one of the quirky things I saw today. Gus Malzahn for multiple drives until I left. I don't know if he got told to stand down. Gene, he's like 5 yards on the field. Like, I mean, I'm talking 15 feet. He's on the field.
Wow.
He was in command in that first half. And shout out to, we haven't mentioned his name yet. How about Mekhi Danzy and his track speed? Oh. Holy good God. So
Alabama didn't know what was hitting them on that touchdown. You could tell they were not like used to that.
Ah, sir. Where I was sitting again is that side of the field, and it's that end zone that he's coming towards on that first touchdown run. Of course, he had a splash play in the second half. It was the same play, and Florida State really needed that to key the touchdown drive to put the game out of reach. But that track speed, Gene, they found a way to use that, and they also found a way to use not quite 400-meter record-setting speed, but Jalen Lucas speed as well. One of the key plays on touchdown drive number 3 was the wheel route that they had to Jalen Lucas down the right sideline, which went for like 60 yards. Gus figured out a way to make sure that speed was not going to waste. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that's a mark of a good coordinator. You put your best players in positions to be successful, and he did that to a T. That's why you brought him in here, and he did it.
Zenol is back. I'm a believer. Whip Bama in the trenches, won Smash Mouth football. Could not be happier. Yeah, thank you very much, Zenol. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are we, a 15, Gene? How you feeling? This is unbelievable.
Man, it's up there. You came from such a point, you're so far down to beat, Alabama at home. It's ridiculous, the highs and lows. This program, they kept showing that over and over. The 2023, I don't know if you saw that on TV when you got back, Tom, but they kept showing 2023 and 13-0 and then 2-10 and all this. And it's just like this program the last few years, you want to talk about epic highs and lows that we've all experienced. But let's enjoy it right now because we're in an epic high.
Yes, we are. Noel Sage. What's up, Noel Sage? Been on all of our shows all week. Thank you.
We may have to. We'll let them in headlines decide that what is the criteria. We're not just doing it for Alabama, but end of the season we will have to set some criteria for the corner pocket party if FSU reaches something. I don't know. What are you thinking early on?
Well, I will tell you.
Championship?
I will tell you that not the whole staff. We won't have a keg-tacular, which is what we called it, which was that's a great name.
Yeah.
Jeff already committed to doing a keg stand the Friday before Miami if they scored this upset. So
okay. Well, I'm not in yet. I'm not into that yet.
No, that could be Jeff's. We can make sure his dad's there and me. Like last time we were the guys who held him up. So we'll do that again. We'll run it back. He said if Bill is good with it, I'm sure Bill will be fine with it.
Definitely is good with it.
The Friday before the Miami game. So he is on the books for a keg stand. Ira Schofel is on the books for his torpedo-sized shot glass for Monday Smash to douse tequila.
Tune into that.
There is a lot of consuming that's coming up in the near future, and that gives me a chance to say social time, everybody. Refill, take a sip, slam whatever you got. Delightful. That's how 1-0 tastes, everybody.
We will have to talk to Ira and Corey and figure out what the criteria is, and some fans can chime in here in the chat. We've got several thousand of you guys, over 6,000 taking part in the chat right now. Let us know, like, what does for us to say this is an epic season, have another keg-tacular after the season. What is the criteria? I'm thinking ACC championship or playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, I think that's probably worthy after 2-10, right, Tom? That's got to be good.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And who doesn't want to have a keg-tacular? Screw all the other stats. We actually scored 4 touchdowns today. There you go. Yeah.
So what is that?
Well, what are 4 touchdowns? I think that was 2 games worth of output last year because we were scoring 15 a game. So, yeah, well put there. I want to get a word in now about our sponsor, T-Spark Enterprises. Fantastic sponsor. I'm glad they came back this year, and they've been rewarded immediately in game 1. If you're in North Florida, they got you covered. Here's something most folks don't think about. When you hire someone to work on your roof, are they actually part of the company or just a subcontractor? That's an important distinction. With T-Spark, you're getting trained professionals who are real employees. That means they're insured, certified, and go through safety courses before ever stepping on your roof. If something goes wrong with your subcontractor, you could be the one on the hook, but with T-Spark, you've got peace of mind, and that's worth everything. Licensed and insured, T-Spark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks. Fantastic organization, and we hope you support those who support us on Warchant TV. It is time to unveil the new phone number for this year. This new phone number, I have not memorized it yet. We're going to pull it up on screen. Director Nick has it right there. 850-634-5800. 850-634-5800 is your new call-in number. We will take some calls very shortly. But I want to come back to this game, Gene. We don't have necessarily a shiny graphic to display, but I want to know who your player of the game was, because there's a lot of good candidates for Florida State.
It might be, so one thing, I'll pimp this, because I will be, after drinking all this liquor, I'm getting up early in the morning to put out the PFF grade. So I will be curious on the grades. It's going to be fun to do it. It was quite the chore last year. I want to see the grades. What if Pettibone grades out over a 90? I might have to be like, I might have to give it to a lineman or something in this game, because how physical they are and running for 230 yards. And that's the thing too, like all these running backs, Tom, I mean, they were angry runners.
Yes, they
Even
were.
Keziah Holmes getting in there. Roydell looked good. Chroma, my man.
Yep.
Who I predict will be, and then Gavin Sawchuk with a run that I have not seen. It was Greg Jones-esque. It was beautiful. Yep. I love that. I might have to give it to Tommy. I know that's cliche, and it is, but I think his leadership, his chutzpah, what he's brought to the table, I think it just fired this whole team up.
So
and defensively, probably Earl Little on that side of the ball.
Let me throw this question out there. If you don't know the answer, that's fine. But everybody in the chat, you can play along. How many pass attempts did Tommy Castellanos have today?
Ooh.
Do you want to take a guess, Gene? Did you look at the stats
12?
there? Okay. 14. Very good.
I was close.
14 pass attempts in this game for Florida State. 49 runs. Holy smokes. You are talking about a better than 3-to-1 ratio in terms of attacking.
That's Gus.
Yep. Yeah. But here's where I could agree with you on Tommy being a singular player of the game. That throw to Squirrel changed everything. That's a 3rd and 10. And that's a play that you go and make. That's not something
and they just ran down the field on you. Yeah, you don't want to give them the ball right back. And you all believed at that point there was that spark to, T-Spark. I'm going to throw that out there. But there's that spark of belief that, wait a minute, this is not last year. Because I turn to my friends and I go, I don't think we saw a play like that all last year. Yep. And here we are in a 3rd and 10 against Alabama. You're getting a big chunk play like that. Yeah, at that point, I think everybody kind of goes, ooh, maybe this is legit. This is a really good team. I'm
going to give an unsung hero of the game, somebody whose name was not mentioned early in camp, somebody whose name was finally mentioned with a little bit more consistency this week, and somebody who stood out and played really well, and that is Daniel Lyons, defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, I heard his name a lot.
His name, yes, especially in that first half. He took over some segments, about 3 or 4 plays that he made singularly himself, and he was considered to be, a health concern for this game. And again, somebody that wasn't praised a ton in preseason camp because apparently he had been dealing with an injury back in the spring and had been ramping up. Daniel Lyons made some plays today. And I thought that was fantastic to see, because one of the questions we had coming into this game, Gene, was about Florida State's defensive line depth. It looks a hell of a lot better with Daniel Lyons playing like that. And then the thought of getting freshman Juju Wynn back in the rotation board. I don't know when, but let's say he's back.
Hopefully by Miami. Let's shoot for that.
Let's say he's back for that, and he can give you 20 or 30 snaps with Lyons and with Jackson. Now you're talking, man. You've got yourself an interior rotation there.
For his stat line, by the way, in case you're curious, had the sack, and also had 2 quarterback hurries and forced that fumble, which, man, were they lucky as crap as that ball to bounce in there, that lineman. And that lineman was a pretty good runner who picked that ball up, but he forced that fumble too back there. So really outstanding. And to have a little bit of depth there, and that's the thing, it's a long season. You can't have your, starting defensive lineman out there for 50, 60 plays every game. You need to rest those guys. So, for him to be a contributor and get a lot of reps and to be that good, yeah, that's a really positive sign.
If you're just making your way into the Warchant TV, Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show built by T-Spark Enterprises, we welcome you on a night that you won't forget unless you don't Cat 5 maintain. But either way, be safe out there and enjoy. We have been starving for this moment. We have been waiting for something good to happen. And I'll tell you, before the game kicked off, I'm not magically going to change my tune. I just wanted Florida State to keep it competitive. I wanted to see professionalism. And I'll tell you, at 7-7, and then it turns to 14-7, at that point, if the game goes the other way, I had already seen that level be achieved. But you know what? Florida State didn't stop there. Florida State did not stop there. They kept going, and they got up 17 points in this ball game, and they end up winning the game 31-17 against an opponent, frankly, that looked coached at a lower level than Florida State was today. And when's the last time that you could say, it's been over a year, hint, hint, that Florida State was the better coached team? Alabama was a mess, Gene. Timeouts left and right, miscommunications, a lot of penalties, a lot of silly penalties. Florida State went out and made plays, and Florida State went out and took this game from Alabama.
And that's the thing. This isn't like when you talked about them going up, the difference was in the game, I'm like, they're actually outplaying Alabama. It's not fluky, like there was some weird shenanigans that happened or some luck that happened. Florida State was clearly the better team. And you mentioned that too, which is astonishing for this coaching staff. I want to give them so much credit for this, the new guys who come in. You mentioned all this stuff with Alabama's, the penalties, the timeouts, the communication issues. Tom, that's normal for a first game. That's normal. As buttoned up as this Florida State team was on both sides of the ball, you mentioned the communication issues on the other side of the ball. Offensively, I mean, I think there was one timeout or one delay or timeout they had to take in the game. But I mean, other than that, they were always on the same page with everybody. And to me, that is amazing for this staff in a first game of this magnitude to have the players button up like it was a midseason game.
Yeah, the timeout was on the kick. Was on the kick to put us up 17-7. Mike got mad at, I think it was Chimento. I think the long snapper has the responsibility there for the play clock, and he was pissed. But then, and Weinberg had hit it. I was like, oh God. That's when I left, is when that TV timeout came, and I watched from a TV in the concourse, which looks very nice. It's a very nice concourse now. I watched Weinberg make the kick. This was something tonight. And now Dare to Dream. This game that Florida State is hosting against Miami next month, it just the ticket just
assuming they're 4-0 at that point, that is going to be, especially if let's hope Miami loses, but for some reason they luck out and the ACC saves them again with some bullcrap calls. So they're undefeated going to that game. That's going to be, Doak is really going to be rocking.
I saw that quickly, that comment that came up underneath, and it said that the ESPN ticker said FSU overwhelms. Okay, ESPN, there you go.
Overwhelms, they use that?
I thought it would say Alabama disappoints. Rather than Florida State, Florida State is the active party in that ESPN ticker update. Okay.
Wow. I tell you, they're sucking up. They want us. I put this out there to some of our subscribers about a week or so ago, but I did learn that the SEC is now communicating their interest. It was Big Ten only, but the SEC's thrown their hat into the ring, and I'll share that with our users here. So it's not a surprise, Tom. Now suddenly they're interested in Florida State, and they're treating FSU a little nicer.
Well, this is what I would do right there on the screen. Then I would take the call. Because it would benefit us.
Who's on the phone?
Yeah.
Greg Sankey?
Yeah. No, I'd pick it up.
That's what you do. Greg, here's what you got for you, buddy.
I'd send him a FaceTime request. I wouldn't answer his call. I'd send him a FaceTime request, and then that's what I would do. But okay, now let's talk. Now that we got that out of the way, what is it that we want to talk about?
Alabama may veto our entrance since we own them. They may be like, no, we don't have to play them.
Let's get a handful more of people to thank. You guys are so generous in the chat, and then we will take a quick break after that and then get to your calls because it's time to let the callers have their say.
Here comes the money.
Shane O'Mac level. There we go. Gordon Alford, thank you very much. I love the effort by our players. We didn't see that last year. Suck at SEC, Miami, Clemson, UF, etc. All right, Gordon.
Yeah. Spread the love around a little bit.
If you want to feel a little defiant on a night like tonight,
could we not have chanted? I was kind of hoping at the end of the game our fans would chant SEC.
I can ask. We can ask. I know Ralph is in the queue right now. We can ask him if that maybe found its way.
I was just listening. I'm like, please chant SEC to mock those
students were ready to go. There was a lot of FU Bama before the game even kicked off. I was like, oh, okay, all right, students, I see you working. All right. Next up to thank, and Gordon, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Skybolt. Heard that we're going to have a few recruits there for the game. Thought that might not be great, but wow, maybe it pays dividends. Okay, I'm going to go off script here. I'm not supposed to do this right now, but I will. Everybody join warchant.com this moment. Go, run to your computers or open up a new tab. Join warchant.com. It's $1 for your first week. You're going to get a full year of access to The Athletic as well. It's a nice welcome gift, but not only are you going to get that gift and the gift of excellent Florida State coverage, there's going to be so much recruiting coverage coming out of this. And I will tell you, it's not just football. Luke Laux and the Hoop Squad had a lot of dudes on campus this weekend too. And it sounds like they got the money to do something about that. You're going to get that access. You're going to be a part of the largest FSU fan community in the business. And Gene is going to give you more. What's Gene going to give you?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think the bourbon's kicking in, Tom. It's my second glass already. At this rate, it could be a long show. I don't even have to peel me off the floor. But I'm so excited. We were doing for a short flash sale. We did $25 in Garnet Gold gift codes. We were giving out with this special that ended. But you know what? I'm not going to do that again for the next 24 hours. I'm going to double it. $50 in Garnet and Gold gift codes. Get T-shirts, get your hoodies. It's going to be wintertime soon. Some incredible stuff at Garnet Gold. We're proud partners with them. I'm going to throw that in. So $1 to get in. You're going to get the athletic subscription for a year. And we're going to throw out $50 worth of Garnet Gold gift codes. And that's going to end in 24 hours. So get on it now because it's limited. We're going to run out of those codes soon.
There you go. So if you're listening to the podcast version of this, as many of you do, you've got less than 24 hours. So it's $1 for your first week. You're going to get the athletic for a year, which is not cheap. And you're also going to get $50 from Garnet and Gold. We want you to be a part of what we have at warchant.com. And you will not be disappointed with the product that you get on warchant.com and talking with other Florida State fans who are so thrilled to be in the position we're in right now. It's time for a short break. We will be back in just 2 minutes' time. In case you need to get a refill, now's the moment. Bolt up from your couch. Go get your refill. We'll be back in 2 minutes taking calls right here on the Warchant Game Day post-game call-in show built by T-Spark Enterprises.
Greatness is built through passion, perseverance, and an unyielding commitment to one's trade. It starts with dedication and the relentless pursuit of perfection. The early mornings, the late evenings, the sacrifices made, all for that one moment of knocking it out of the park. On every job we do, T-Spark, we conquer all peaks.
Excuse me, I was just having a swig of some victory scotch. Busted.
Hey, how about the payback for this, Tom? You know, they kept going back and showing the 2023 season and Alabama taking FSU spots. How about this for a little stick it to you, buddy? You screwed us. We just beat your ass on national TV at home.
This checks all the boxes. If you like schadenfreude, if you like being petty, like today's your day. If you like toughness on the football field and just being more physical than your opponent, today was your day. If you're the eternal optimist in your group text with all your FSU friends, today's your day. And you know what? Even if you're not, if you're the pessimist, today's your day too. Celebrate it. This is a big moment, everybody. And we're so glad to be here for it because, frankly, last year we did a lot of these shows and we weren't so happy. But we're all glad for you out there. So many of you have been there for a lot of the post-game shows, a lot of primetime games last night, Gene, as you recall. And we all got through it together, but we go through those things together for moments like this, and just so very happy that here we are together on the Warchant Game Day postgame show. 1-0 with a decisive victory over Alabama. Okay, sounds good. We will go to our first caller of the night. Oh, yeah, and we got to meet him in person last night at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. It was a pleasure to meet him face-to-face, and it's a pleasure to welcome him on. If you're talking about superlatives of our callers, I think this man brings the most wisdom amongst all of the rest. He is Gene in Ocala. Gene in Ocala, go ahead. Welcome to the program.
T. Lizzie, Gene, what's going on?
1-0, Gene. And 1-0.
What's up, Gene? Let's go.
1-0. Hey, Tom, this is just like whenever you play the red zone, you know, every single rep. That's what they did tonight. Every single rep, every single play, they showed hard. They did the things that they needed to do. It started off being, I just hope that it remains close and respectable, to Tommy eating some W's. What a game. It was awesome. The only thing that I just wanted to ask, what I told Terry was, how high should our expectations be of watching them be able to have these lines of scrimmages pushing forward, not just standing there, not just holding a block, but making a force on these plays, holding that line for Tommy as he was able to stand back there and scan the field. It was just awesome to see those players running around, going downhill, knowing what to do, when to do. Great win for those Noles. It was outstanding meeting you last night in person. Gino, I got to see you soon, baby, because we got to do some kind of toast or something, because this is just
absolutely
one of those things that you just got to sit back, take a couple of swigs, look at each other and take some more swigs and say, how about those Noles? Go Noles. Great. Thank you guys for what you do. And we're 1-0, baby. 1-0.
Thank you, Gene. Stay on the line real quick. Don't hang up. I just want to ask you a question. Did Tommy actually eat W's? Did he actually do that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was in the camera, had the W all folded up, and he was eating them on the sideline.
That's
right
my
at the
boy.
end of the game.
Oh, my goodness. That is fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Gene, for the call. We appreciate it. We look forward to talking to you all season long. I got to tell you, Gene Williams, it was a pleasure meeting Gene last night at Corner Pocket.
I wish I would have met Gene. I met so many great people, but I didn't get a chance to catch up with Gene at Corner Pocket last night. But, man, Tommy brings up a great question, and that's going to be the theme, because you've got two warm-up games the next 2 weeks, next two games. It's the expectations, because there were effectively none. We're all like, we don't know. They're going to be better. We don't know how much better. Because the way they play this game, because they were good in the trenches against a team that's notoriously one of the best in college football in the trenches, and because they were so well coached on both sides of the ball, it's hard to put a ceiling on those expectations at this point. We know we've been burned so bad last year, but man, from what we saw on the field, how do you not suddenly say, hey, they're contending for the ACC? They got a real good shot to be a playoff team right now. What we don't know is how bad Alabama is, but sometimes it's not just that. It's what we're just looking at Florida State. They're a button-up unit. They were fighting for every play on both sides of the ball. They were in the right positions. It's hard to see this team not being really good throughout the season.
I agree. I think I want to settle on this a little bit more. I'm not trying to be negative. I want to know if Alabama's actually kind of bad, because they look like a bad football team today, like with a lot of talent. But we saw that song and dance towards the end of Jimbo's tenure, where you have a lot of good recruits on campus, but that operation ain't exactly buttoned up. Here's what I think is going to happen as we face better quarterbacks. And that's, we'll probably give up a few more big plays, because Simpson missed a couple today. There was a touchdown that he missed on a drive that ended up going for naught, because we stopped him on fourth down. Another throw that he missed when he actually had the scramble to the left. I think he would have gotten the first down if he just ran it. But one thing that won't happen, you won't typically find a quarterback like Simpson who will evade about three.
Oh, there are about 3 or 4 times we had him dead to rights for a huge loss.
Right. So I think that's a trade-off. That he actually is a very good runner. But I was hinting at this. I didn't have the guts to pick Florida State in the upset, so I'm not trying to, again, do that. But I was hinting at this. Grubb, the offensive coordinator, really wants to throw the ball. But Simpson is like a dual-threat middling guy. So I don't think that they fit perfectly, and that's what Alabama fans have to
I thought about it early on. It almost seemed like they abandoned the run early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really got away from that. I was like, you're Alabama, that offensive line. What are you doing?
It looked like they might have found it there as they were rallying, too, because they broke off a couple of big ones. Florida State responded. We were physical. For every 6 or 7 yard gain they had, we'd hold them in 1 or 2. But they decided to not commit to that. In fact, obviously, by the end of the game, you saw that Florida State had only given up 89 yards on the ground. I believe that was 87 yards on the ground, on 30 carries. But it felt like in the middle portions after that first drive where they really ran the ball a lot on that first drive where they scored a touchdown. They did not do it again. Maybe we beat it out of them, Gene. Maybe that's one thing we should expect more is that Florida State's going to beat some things out of people. Troy Noel, we love you. He's a big supporter of what we do. He has the news, and so therefore
we heard this. I heard this was coming today. How cool is this? What a wonderful day. Jameis Winston's son is coming to
brother.
I'm sorry. Yeah, brother. I'm sorry.
That would be something.
Yeah. No, not son. Yeah, he's not that old yet to commit, but yeah, it's coming to Florida State. It's just fantastic, and it's going to be nice. Not only for seeing him come play here, but we're going to see Jameis a lot more around the program. He needs to be here. It's a beautiful thing. Look, now we created that graphic was created. How cool is that photo of Jameis and him together? That's
phenomenal. Yeah. So another Winston joins the Florida State family. So that's a nice way to continue the day. And, the Winston family's from Alabama. So there's that. 6 shades of Alabama. There you go. We now go to the man who I have to thank before I bring him on the air. He gave me the opportunity to sit with him, to sit with Hawaii Nole as well today. I got to talk to Caleb James on the phone. Ralph called him during the game because it was going so well. So I spoke to him via speakerphone. He brought me into his game day Ohana, and I very much appreciate that. It is Ralph in Hawaii, Spartan 71, and he joins us now on the Postgame Call-In show. Go ahead, brother.
Ralph!
Tommy, I can't tell you how much I love you, brother. I got Hawaii Nole standing right next to me, and it was an absolute pleasure to let you come to our family, and enjoy the game with us. First of all, I would like to put out a service call to Nole Nation. We're compassionate people. We need to go check on Gollum Fart Bomb and make sure he hasn't committed suicide yet because he is a piece of freaking garbage. SEC can suck my whatever. I'm going to keep it clean. I love you guys. I have nothing to say tonight, but every one of you out there deserve this. Enjoy the freaking hell out of this game. Do not be bashful to scream Nole Nation. Let's go. This season is ours.
Let's go, Ralph!
Bama!
Aloha. I love it. Let's hit that applause button again. I think we got our caller of the night. We're going to start unofficially giving out callers of the night. Like that might get beat. But it's going to be very difficult to beat.
He set the bar pretty high. So you
Ralph,
got to bring it.
Passion. And I got to tell you, my hand still hurts from all the high fives I was getting in the stands. It was just a quarter and a half. I think if I stayed for all 4 quarters, my hand would be gone. Yeah. I wouldn't have it. It would be like the photo in Back to the Future. It'd just be
That's the best thing about doing this all these years, and you meet people like Ralph who are just true. There's people that come on. There's obviously hundreds of thousands of FSU fans, but there's a couple dozen that just absolutely bleed garnet gold. And Ralph is one of those guys, and he's such a good person too, man. We love you, Ralph. Glad you're able to call in and enjoy this victory. I know you will.
I don't know why the hell I just muted myself. I do. Must be the scotch. I do want to say it is time for another social, but this one, don't hit the button just yet. Here's why. We got to salute the great Sunshine Scooter, Lee Corso.
Glad you're doing this. Yeah.
This is an important day for Florida State Seminole fans everywhere because one of ours became one of America's, and that is who Lee Corso is a wonderful ambassador of the game. He's everything that's right with college football and the passion and the innocence of it in a way, even though he could cut loose with an F-bomb just as easy as anybody else in the caller lines or like Gene will once or twice this year, and I'm sure I will too. But Lee Corso is a treasure, and Lee Corso, from everything I've heard and everything I've seen, is just a good human being, and we want to salute him. Time for a social, everybody, for Lee Corso. Raise your glasses for the Sunshine Scooter.
Lee, buddy. By the way, the only one that picked FSU today on game day.
He did, and he was right.
He was right. He went out picking Florida State, and they were damn right. We have that. Do we have some some noise coming in here?
We do. We've got a Shane O'Mac coming from the top rope, like he was in an ECW level match.
Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
Boom.
Woo! Z-Chan.
Boom. The official DMD of Warchant TV, the one and the only Z-Chan. Lovely, Z-Chan. You don't have to do that. You never have to do that. But every time you do, we'll say thank you for doing that. Thank you so much, Z-Chan, with $499.99. My goodness gracious. I'm sure a lot of Alabama fans who were in the stands today at Florida State paid more than that for their tickets. And boy, did they invest in their own misery. It's just too freaking bad.
We may have to do a replay of that later on, Tom, the montage of miserable Alabama fans.
Oh, sure.
It's schadenfreude. You know, let's enjoy this for everything it's worth.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
So here's what we'll do. After this next call, we're going to go through that Rolodex of distraught Alabama folks who will never want to come back to Tallahassee again. But we'll do that after this caller, because up next is our guy in the Villages, Wes in the Villages.
Yes!
The promo king of Warchant TV. Wes, welcome to the program. Go ahead, sir.
Yo, Jeff and Tom, I only got one thing to say. FLORIDASTATE. Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! My voice is going, guys. I just wanted to say, fantastic game. To answer your question, you could not have tell that the Doak attendance went down. It was insanity. It was just an amazing atmosphere. It exceeded my expectations. And I don't know if you guys saw it or heard it, but after Alabama scored, they were doing the chop and mocking FSU. And look what happened. Karma came around, bit him right in the backside, and the rest is history. It was great seeing you guys last night. You guys are the best. Since I don't have much of a voice, I'll make it quick. Everybody that's listening, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to warchant.com, the best in the business. What a season it's going to be, boys. We are back. Tom, Gene, everybody I saw last night, it was great to see you guys. I'm headed back to the Villages now. I'm tired, but I'm going home. I'll be riding high the whole way, and I'll listen to the show after I get in the car. Y'all be good, and go Noles. You're the best.
Go Noles. Drive safe, Wes. We love you, buddy. It's great hanging out with Wes last night at Corner Pocket.
Also, I just saw a note from our call screener, Terry, that he also is imbibing in some scotch tonight. So
Terry, yes. Right there with you, buddy.
Sláinte, everybody. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at that montage of misery.
Which is awesome, because Wes just brought that up about how they were mocking FSU. So a little payback here. Here you go, boys.
That was after the first touchdown drive. Oh, DeBoer. Yeah. Is that, we had that moment from Mike.
Like he was crying. I thought about that. You mentioned the crying. I thought it looked like late in the game he was crying on the sideline.
Yeah. Well, he knows that his
job days there may be limited.
Paul Feinbaum's coming for his ass.
A surrender cobra. There has to be some of those.
Oh yeah, that's a surrender. Yeah, you know what time it is, young man. That's okay. You go home, just get home safely. That's all right. Not your day. This poor guy. My favorite is the woman behind them.
It's almost a smirk.
That is a smirk, 100%. She knows what time it is, but it looks like she might be in visiting territory, so that's okay. Let's see. Oh,
yeah, there it is. There's our boy.
Double bird store. That is fantastic. Oh, there you go. Head in his hands. Yeah. You guys don't have a quarterback. Maybe one of those young kids can play. But you better try, because you don't have a quarterback right now. It's unfortunate.
That's a shame. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Paul. You suck.
Oh, my goodness. Tonight is a good night. You know what? Florida State, Gene, until we get into a Power 2 conference, Gene, I think we should continue to schedule SEC teams for our season opener.
Yes. 3-0 versus the vaunted SEC.
This goes very well for us. Goes very well. So why not? Next up, we'll play them in week 3 next year. I wish we could move it up to week 1, because we really love
it. Georgia right now is calling up to cancel their home and home with FSU. They're like, nah, we've seen enough.
Maybe so. Let's see. What do we go to? Yeah, we'll go to Ryan and Santa Rosa Beach. This is Ryan in Santa Rosa Beach. This is the first of 2 calls where we're going to be talking about some offensive line play. I love it. I love talking trenches. Ryan, welcome to the party. Go ahead.
Hey, from what I understand, Georgia's canceling the game, and so that sounds great. I think we're going to do well there. What I really wanted to get to was last night, hey, that was a great time. I wanted to let everybody know that I was able to get in on the raffle by having the $25 credit with Garnet and Gold from subscribing to Warchant.
Awesome.
So everyone subscribe to Warchant. It's worth it. There's benefits. It's a countless. The list goes on. It's the greatest ever. E.H. Taylor for Gene. I'm drinking it now. I poured one.
Oh, my man.
Lagavulin, Tom. I don't have any, but hell, D.H. Taylor. We're gonna go with D.H. Taylor.
It's delicious, very smooth.
If I had to ask a question, it looked like we got Squirrel White and Earl Little. Both of them look to be nicked up a little bit. Is there any concern there with either one of them? Because gosh darn, Earl Little was making plays and Squirrel got the one reception. I didn't see him on the field again. Am I missing something? I am drinking a lot and I love you guys, and we had a blast at Corner Pocket, and go Noles. We love you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. We really appreciate the call. And what I'll tell you is, I'll cop to it. I don't know that I saw anything definitive on Squirrel White. If we got people in the chat that did
he come back or not? Yeah, there were so
chime
few
in.
passes, as you pointed out. It's hard to tell. But if he was back, I thought Earl came back after he got banged.
Earl
up.
did. Earl's fine. At least he was fine to play the rest of the game.
So, yeah.
Edwin Joseph is the guy who got dinged up near the goal line.
Yeah, that was a little iffy.
That one looked scary. That collision looked a little bit scary. So we'll see what Edwin Joseph's status is. Injuries are never cool. They're never fun. And, for the Alabama kids that got hurt today too, the injuries are never cool. But the one thing I would say for Florida State is you do have a ramp up period of time here over the next month before you play Virginia on a Friday night, before you play Miami. Yeah. So if it's something that requires a little bit of time, you'll be able to work around it. But you're right. Squirrel White was there for that one giant play. And I got to tell you, Ryan, that's a great point. I don't remember seeing him. But then again, Florida State called so many runs that, there were a couple of throws to Deuce, one of which they weren't on the same page. Another one where he broke a tackle. I don't know what Squirrel's status is.
A couple things we'll find out. So we're going to be later on. The plan is, technology permitting, everything else, to bring either Corey or Ira on from Florida State after post-game interviews. And we will ask them if they have any updates on the injury. They might get some stuff in post-game. What I can also do, Tom, is when I do the post-game PFF grades and we grade, and I do an analysis. If you're a Warchant subscriber, we do a whole breakdown of the grades, the positions, the players. What I also do is snap counts. If Squirrel's got like 12 snaps, we'll know he did not play, obviously, after that first that big play down the stretch. So we'll know from them too. So
Jay Street says Squirrel played in the fourth quarter. Gene's going to find that out for you, and he'll get the snap count information tomorrow with the PFF. That's actually honestly, Gene, even more than the grades, I love the snap counts because it tells me who the coaches trust. It tells me there were a lot of people on the field tonight for both the defensive line and linebackers that I didn't think there would be. I thought it would be an inner circle today of guys that they trust. It's an inverted bowl game, and if you could add more layers to it, you'll do it for Virginia and Miami. And I'll give you the first example that comes to my mind, which is Blake Nicholson. Blake Nicholson had a game tonight, Gene.
Oh, he was showing up in the fourth quarter. I mean, he had a couple times he should have had a sack. I mean, he had like we talked about before, their quarterback was so – hey, did you say squirrely after I went Squirrel White, but he was able to just get out of a lot of stuff. And I thought Blake had him down a couple times. But, yeah, he was active. He looked like he's come a long way from what we saw a couple of years ago.
And here's the thing here is Blake was on the two deep, but again, from what we heard in practice and what we heard from the coaches, it sounded like they had 4 linebackers that they really trusted, and then maybe 5 or 6 could get into the rotation. But for an Alabama game, Blake Nicholson to come on the field early, he was out there in drive 2 or drive 3, and then make a couple of big plays, stuffing the run game, which has been the bugaboo in his career up to this point. Then he also had the pass deflection on that rush on the left side.
And he timed that out perfectly on that. That was beautiful. That's how you do it.
It is how you do it. Before we go to the next offensive line call from one of our best posters on the Tribal Council, Mindbender says, please toast the offensive line. It's time for social, everybody. Let's social right now. Social. Here we go. Delightful. We are toasting the offensive line.
Here we go.
What do we got?
Oh, wait. What are we doing?
Who is it? RJ Beasley, 9713. Well, thank you, RJ. We appreciate you. He says, go Noles from North Carolina and Haywood Smokehouse. Gene, does Haywood Smokehouse sound like a delicious establishment to
My
you?
mouth just watered thinking about some North Carolina barbecue.
RJ,
My
we really appreciate it. If you have a question, we'll try and flag it. So if you have something else, thank you so much for the contribution, and we really appreciate you helping us at what we do here at Warchant TV. Next up, we go to Missoula, Montana, the land of FSU.
Oh, I know who this is.
FSU 91. I don't know that he wants his first name out there, so we'll go with FSU 91. Welcome to the show, good sir.
Hey, Tom, how are you tonight?
Happy as shit. That's how I am. How are you?
Amen. Hey, I just want to make a couple of points. Number one, hey, next time I'm in Tallahassee, I only get there 2 or 3 times a year. I learned how to play golf at Capital City. I want to get out there and play with you, man. I want to go out there and play some golf. Let's do it. But hey, about the offensive line, let's talk about that. Offensive line, as I've been saying for about 20 years on the Tribal Council and before, it's the foundation upon which all else is built. We sucked last year. We sucked because we only averaged 13 points per game against FBS teams. And we sucked because we could not block. We couldn't block at all. We also dropped 13% of the balls that were passed by our quarterbacks last year. But blocking was the number one issue. Tonight we blocked. Throw out those 3 kneel downs, and we had 46 carries for 236 yards, over 5 yards a carry against Alabama. 5+ yards per carry against Alabama. That's getting it done. Am I right?
No, totally.
Nailed it.
Very good call. Very good call. And you know what? FSU 91, I'll even be kind when we go play at Capital City. I'll tell you where the grain pulls because those greens are tricky.
I want to say, follow up on that, by the way, if you're not on Warchant, by the way, so we're running a great promo right now for that. But, I mean, you want to talk about one of our most passionate, informative posters. He just spews information out there to people all the time. And this is the one thing that it's been a thing, and he brought this up here, and I agree 100%, how horrifically bad the OL was last year. And it was backed up. The eyeball test, you saw it, and when I ran those PFF grades and the single-digit numbers I was seeing consistently on that offensive line was just insane. So 91, you nailed it there about the play of the offensive line, and I was just very pleasantly surprised how good they were today.
I don't have the full list of plays. I'm going to call anything over 10 yards on the ground against Alabama an explosive play because it's just not easy. And you saw a couple of times in the second half when they knew what we were doing. So, Gene, they got up to 3 tackles for loss, but it's because the situations that Florida State was in from playing from ahead, they could kind of guess.
Okay, well, it was 1 for most of the game.
Their first one wasn't until deep in the second half, so you're absolutely correct. They ended up with 3. But I'm going to call 10 yards plus against that Bama front an explosive play. I'm seeing here that Tommy had a 14-yarder. I'm sure that wasn't the only one, but it's his longest. Mekhi Danzy had a 32-yarder. We know he had another explosive as well, so at least 2 there. Chroma had a 14-yarder when he was dragging people as a true freshman, dragging people. You can
Future's bright, Tom. Got to wear shades.
Well, that's right. People call him different. You can see why. Gavin Sawchuk, of course, had the touchdown.
Remember that Sawchuk one. Woo.
Oh, man. Yes, so several explosive plays in the running game. And then also when you had to have it, to me, the key play in the game that calmed the whole thing down, which was 4th and 1 from our own 34-yard line, and Williams goes and gets it.
I got to admit, I was torn because we've been burned so many times by Norvell going for it deep in his own end. So I got to admit, I probably would have punted on that play, but obviously in hindsight, made the right call.
I will tell you, I don't love turning and handing the ball off on 4th and 1. Usually I like you could do the Philadelphia Eagles thing. You could do a quarterback sneak. I don't love getting in the shotgun and handing the ball off on 4th and 1, but good God, if Florida State didn't block it up and if Roydell wasn't a man about it. Okay. That was cool. That was great to see. Next up on the show is one of our great callers. Oh, buddy, I'm glad that you're back in the fold for another year. It's Coach Josh. We won't go with Coach Josh, but it's Josh in Long Island. We're going to Long Island. Josh, welcome to the program.
Tommy, Tom, and Gino!
What's up, Josh?
We have officially kicked 2024 out of the building. That's what this game was about, kicking 2024 out of the building. Real quick, because Terry told me about the time limit. I listened to Corey yesterday, and it got me fired up because he was like, we can't act like we're Vanderbilt, we're freaking Florida State. It's Goliath versus Goliath, and that's what we played like today. Now, here's my question. Before I ask that question, Alir Malouk's going to have a breakout year. That's my kid. He'll have a breakout year. But anyway, here's a question about the O-line. Now, I think I know the answer, but who is now and going forward the most important lineman that we've gotten out of the transfer portal? I think it's Luke Pettivon.
Yep.
Partly because I've had Maurice for the last couple of years, and I love him as a kid, but I want to know from you guys. Love you guys. 1-0. We are in the building. Peace.
Peace. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. Great call.
Always great to hear from Josh. I think we agree. I think Josh nailed it. It's Luke in the middle of the offensive line. Yeah.
And again, I know we like to crap on ABC, ESPN for a good reason, obviously, but they did call up Pettibone. They recognized how well he played in this game and what he meant to that offense, and they highlighted him at the end of the game. And I was like, that's pretty cool that they actually did that and recognized. First of all, those guys don't get credit, and they picked the right guy and how important he was. So I think it's Pettibone 100%. That's why I say he's in the running for me for the game's MVP.
I agree. I talked about this on the pregame show today that especially with who Alabama was missing, you might actually have a mismatch in Florida State's favor in the middle of the offensive line with Luke Pettibone. That's going to be fun to watch this year to see how that develops. But that was a good get. And, Gene, they weren't going to get him unless Clausen quit. He was going to stay at Wake Forest, but because Clausen quit, because he knew they weren't going to invest and advance their program, he was like, all right, let me see what my options are. That's not the traditional portal route. Usually the kids, take best offers and that kind of stuff. That was not the way that Luke went about it, and now he's here, and good news for Florida State. Kirk says, y'all got to watch DeBoer's presser. You only hear the war chant when he starts talking. That is fantastic.
Oh, we will have that on Warchant. We do have the opposing coach interview up on Warchant TV. So you're right here now. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. You'll get all the videos we put out. But we'll have it on Warchant TV. We'll have DeBoer's post game here shortly.
Let's see if we've got some people that we can thank right now on Warchant TV. We'll get back to the phone callers in just a moment, but I can see so many folks who have donated. Canada 1099. All right, bringing the Canadians.
Wow.
NAFTA, baby. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but thank you very much for the contribution. It's a super sticker. I'm sure it's lovely. If you have a question, we'll try and find it. But thank you so much for the contribution. It makes us able to do a lot of things. Toolbox Tatum. Again, with a Vince McMahon.
Like the
Vince McMahon in a do-rag. What is this, Miami? Yeah, that's right. There you go. What is this? A do-rag? Is this Miami week? Vince McMahon. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much, Toolbox. Who is next? Who do we got? We got Noel Kev. Oh, Noel Kev. Oh, no.
Red Solo Cup. You got to do it.
I know, but here's the problem, Noel Kev. In the offseason, we lost all of our digital assets across the board. You're going to have to give me some time on that one. But he says, Red Solo Cup, Xbox headset kind of night, T-Lang. I'm going to have to work on this in the background when Gene talks or when callers talk, but I'll get you that photo. Noel Kev, thank you so much for the contribution. Yep. I will work on that pronto. Next up, there's our guy. That's our guy.
Hope Hunter Proof gets in.
I'm checking the caller list. I don't see him. Hey, if you can make a call, 100 proof. Let's see if the phone lines are open.
You give him a special number to get in.
I should. Right now, we got the full load of callers. Norvell whipped them peaches out on national television on that fourth down call. I could see the veins. Oh my god!
It was awesome listening to Testator on that. Like, what are they doing?
Cojones. Hashtag cojones. You know what? I think after the show's over, just if I want to laugh, I'm going to go on Twitter and search hashtag cojones. Roll Noles, says 100 Proof Football. Thank you.
We love you, buddy,
for the contribution. Brad Fisk says, how do you manage Gus and Tony White on the trail going forward? Do you assume they're gone for head coach jobs next year or let them cook? That's a fair question. And that is a first world problem.
Exactly. You let them cook as much as they can cook. If they end up, I think it's the right philosophy by Norvell. If my coaches are so good that someone's going to come in and give a promotion a lot of money, good on them. And that's why he gets more good coaches to come in if they leave. because that's what you do. So yeah, if they do, man, if they're to the point they're both getting head coaching jobs after this year, means Florida State's having a pretty special season. Let's worry about years ahead. Let's enjoy 2025 right now.
Yeah, I think what you do is you let them cook, and then you have a separate conversation with the battle's end, and you say, look, be ready to go up 10 or 15% on the number that we have on all these kids right now, because if they take another job, they're going to try to go up 5 or 10%. So let's have some extra money ready to go to make sure that we can have this special bond and relationship in this recruiting instead of the coordinator in case they leave. So you need an in case of emergency fund would be the short answer to that question. Oh, we got another one.
My goodness. They seem to be a little happy tonight.
Will Beasley with a giant contribution. Thank you, Will. If you have a question, please, by all means, offer a question. Cheers to you, good sir. I'm working on that red Solo Cup picture right now. I'll get that soon. Thank you, Will, very, very much for the contribution. Next up, we'll go through two more, and then we'll get to our next caller. So next up will be, Marty, once again. Thank you, Marty. Does Bama come calling for Mike again at the end of the season? Noles? Fantastic. I love it.
Oh.
Thank you for the contribution. We appreciate you. And one more before we go back to the phone lines, and that's Noel Buck 836. Thank you, Noel Buck. He says, happy to be back. Love the trenches. As Jeff Cameron said, watch the trenches. Thought we dominated. Wow. Just absolutely wow. Let's go from the Buckeye State. All love. Well, we feel that love, Noel Buck, and you didn't have to give us a contribution to make that happen, but we feel the love tonight.
Appreciate it.
On Warchant TV. We got 2,000 of you on YouTube. We got 60. Oh, nice. 69.
We've been over 7 a few times.
Yep.
Over
Yep.
7.
Right around 7,000 of you across the Warchant Multimedia Stream Network. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. X. I know it's called X these days. I have a hard time with that. Thank you for being here. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. If you love Florida State content, or if this is your first time, you just punched in a couple of keys hoping that there was Florida State coverage after the game was over, and you found us, you're going to really love Warchant TV. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. You're going to love the content that you find on Warchant TV. All right. We go back to the phone lines, and it's Andrew in Lakeland. Andrew, what's up from the 813? Go ahead, good sir.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Happy.
We're doing great, Andrew.
I'm still sitting in this shock and bliss moment. Like I don't know what this feels like. Like it's very foreign to me after last year, but it's a great feeling to have. Quick comment and a question. So I got to meet Coach Norvell over the near the holidays. He was doing a recruiting visit at a local high school that I volunteer with, and he said, "I promise you we'll be better." I guess he was right. And my question is, which coordinator do you think transformed their unit more? I know it's tough to say on one game, but which coordinator do you think really, because there was major improvement on both sides of the ball, which coordinator do you think gets that honor? Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you, Andrew. That's an excellent question. Gene, would you like to go first? Because I've got a good answer. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'll go first. Obviously, they both did dramatic jobs, but I got to go with Gus and the offense, because if you start looking at any metric possible, PFF grades, points per game, yards, efficiency, everything on that offense was horrific. It was the bottom or one of the bottom 2 or 3 in all of FBS. And to see what they did today against what is obviously there's a bunch of 5-star players, and to go out and have them on their heels and, like I said, rush for 230 yards against that team and have them off balance. And I'm not diminishing what Tony White did. I mean, I think, Tom, you nailed about the communication thing. That was my biggest criticism about Adam Fuller, is there was always guys never seemed to know what was going on. They couldn't communicate with each other. They knew it was on the sidelines. They were always out of position. But what Gus Malzahn did in such a short period of time to have these guys all on the same page, running his system, which is not easy. You see all the guys in motion, the different personnel groupings they do. This is a complicated offense, and it looked like these guys have been running it for years. So, I mean, hats off to Gus Malzahn on what he did for that offense.
I want to shout out a couple of players on offense before I give my answer. Number one, an unheralded player, and that's Javen Boggs. I know he had a drop early in this game. He had a drop on the first drive. But if you go back and look, when Tommy Castellanos takes off for that touchdown run right after the big explosive play to Squirrel White, there are 2 players with excellent blocks. Number 13, Randy Pittman, is going to be on your screen. But then also, I didn't see this in real time in the stadium. When I came back and I watched the key plays back at the house, I saw that Javen Boggs in the end zone absolutely bottled up the defensive back that he was assigned to. That is coaching. I also want to shout out another guy. This is on defense. I'm going to go to Quindarius Jones. Remember, there was a trick play in the first half. I think it was the first play of the second quarter. So if you're watching on TV, it's when they're interviewing DeBoer and they're in the split screen.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
So they've got run left, run fake left, run fake right, screen left. And there's only one guy who can make the play there if he stays at home and he doesn't have his hand in the cookie jar, and that's 16, Quindarius Jones. I think Quindarius had an up and down day today, but that play, he's on an island. That is a special football play. F-bombs might have been uttered by me saying that that's what you do. I had a student look at me and say, all right, man, I see you. I was like, that fires me up because that's coaching and that's not trying to do too much or not trying to big game hunt for your own stats.
And last year that's going probably maybe taken to the house.
Yes, 100%. My answer to the question would be Tony White. And here's why. Gus gets a lot of points for what the offense looked like tonight and the way we ran the ball. But that's an all-new group. I'm seeing a lot of guys that were Adam Fuller players look a lot better with Tony White. Like Richie Leonard, the fourth, is on the offensive line, and he was a holdover. Everybody else is new, really. I mean, a couple of the running backs might not be. Jalen Lucas, okay, but he played like 6 plays last year, it felt like. So it's basically a new offense. But on defense, I'm seeing Blake Nicholson make plays. I'm seeing Juice Cryer make plays. And Earl Little look like he's never looked before. I'm seeing Edwin Joseph make plays. You could go on with a couple more players. Dale Jackson had a good game. Daniel Lyons had a very good game. A lot of holdovers year over year for Florida State that had big games tonight. That, to me, is transformation. I don't think that happens without Tony White being in the building instead of Adam Fuller. Yeah. So full credit to Tony White. But there's no wrong answer there because Florida State won this game in both phases. And you could argue in all 3 phases because Alabama had a missed kick in this game as well, and Florida State did not. We'll take one more caller before going to break, and that will be Jay in San Francisco. Jay in San Francisco, welcome to the program.
Hey guys. Hey, Tom. Eugene. Well, it's a good segue because that's kind of the topic of my call as well. I say we're splitting hairs over which coordinator did better. Obviously, as an overview, like this game could not have gone better. The crowd was phenomenal. I was watching from home out here in the Bay Area, and like they sounded as loud as I've ever heard. It looked like an amazing environment for hundreds of recruits. I think were there. Yeah. Like this was a declaration to the nation that we're back. We'll be awaiting the SEC and Big Ten's call now. I think they know we're around and we're not going away. This couldn't have gone better in so many ways. You guys have already touched on it, but I agree. Tom, Tony Scott's defense, it was aggressive. They were communicating, and I think that's why they were aggressive. That's probably the coaching difference. What I saw was everybody flying to the ball. I saw solid LB play. The DL seemed to control, or at least Bama gave up on running. I think they had a 2-to-1 ratio of pass to rush. And the DBs had decent coverage, and they were hitting. And it's certainly, I didn't think there was targeting, but I think Williams certainly, we were in his head before then. I don't think he was concussed. I think he got alligator arms. We were swarming. And then on the offense, I mean, it was exactly what like all of our dreams were when we brought in Malzahn and Castellanos. We had no turnovers, which actually that we won this game with no turnovers. I thought we were going to have to get an INT. I thought Little might have had one and would have taken it the distance, but we had no offensive turnovers. We had a great use of the QB run and misdirection. Mm-hmm. We thought Malzahn was going to be maybe one running back only. Chroma really looked good to me, but we used Chroma. Holmes got a TD. Danzy was utilized twice really well. Obviously, he had his TD. Sawchuk with his TD. Roydo Williams was moving it and was utilized at least in short yardage. I thought it was really a comprehensive win. Boggs didn't get that catch, but he looked awesome, and I saw the blocking as well. We used Robinson. White obviously had a shot, his catch, and then as well the new tight end. His name escapes me right now from UCF. Yep. So anyways, I just thought it was a comprehensive win. Our special teams was awesome as well. I'll await you all coming out to the Bay Area. Terry, your call screening guy, wanted me to give a holler that maybe he could come on out. But you guys come on out.
He wants to come out because you're near Napa Valley. He's definitely got a motivation there.
Yeah, he wants to go to Napa Valley, and Jay, we appreciate the call. And you know what? Terry's worked so hard on this show and a lot of bad nights with interesting calls to screen that why not? Let's see if Jay, if you can make that happen. But
hey, Stanford, I know Ira's already booked his flight for the Stanford game, the late night Stanford game this year.
As a programming note, I'll mention that now on the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show presented and built by T-Spark Enterprises. That is going to be a Warchant Game Day watch-along built by T-Spark Enterprises, because if you'll forgive us, we're not going to go till 4 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning for a postgame show. So we're going to watch it with you for the Stanford game. Every other game you can find us here, even if it's an 8 o'clock kick. No big deal. We'll be here for the postgame show. 10:30 is pushing it a little bit. So just note that for your calendars for October. But yes, this was a comprehensive victory.
It was every side of the ball. I will still have my 2 criticisms of the special teams. First time they let the ball bounce again. You lost about 20 yards on position on that one. And then obviously you had the muff or the on
Jalen Lucas.
Yeah, it was Lucas. Yeah, that had that. So I'm not thrilled about that. We still seem to struggle in that one area a little bit. But again, the 2 kickers, the punting was solid. Obviously, field goal kicking was excellent. Extra points, everything was on point. So all in all, very good for the special teams. Got to clean up those punt returns a little bit.
I do want to ask something I usually ask behind the scenes on the air. This is a question from an employee to a boss. Gene, did I hear you correctly that you want to see if we can get Ira or Corey from the stadium?
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Do we have that in the hopper, or are we working on
I am sending them the link right now.
Yes.
So there you go. What we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to take a 90-second commercial break, a 90-second break to collect ourselves. We've got more callers in the hopper. We've got more of your comments, and we've got more smiles. We've got more
we got those.
We've got more.
Ear to ear.
We've got more suck at SEC. We got more great energy coming up in the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show, built by T-Spark Enterprises, back in 90 seconds.
It rains 130 days a year in Tallahassee, which is 1.7 million gallons of water coming down, plus 500 pounds of leaves piling up on your roof, and maybe a tree branch or two. We spend 23.5 hours a day thinking about roofs. We've driven 60,000 miles in a year serving our customers. We've climbed 2,000 ladders to install over 100,000 shingles. You've got one roof. Let T-Spark worry about the rest.
All right, Gene, how's the scotch situation right now?
I think we're due for a refill, Tom.
Oh, all right. Very good.
It is bourbon, by the way. But
I'm sorry. It's bourbon. Forgive me.
Yeah, we mix in a little bit of both. I looked at while we're on break at the likes. We're at a little over 700 likes. We got to get that thing. Come on, man. There's like over 7,000 people total on here. So let's get that thing to 1,000. Of course you like.
Yeah.
I hope you like our show and you like that FSU just beat the crap out of Alabama. Come on now.
Fantastic.
Show us some love.
Yeah, just hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up and enjoy a sip with us. I'm not calling for a social right now. What I am calling for are a few of these contributions from our fine folks. We'll take 3 and then we'll go back to the phone lines. Let's see. Who do we need to thank tonight? Toolbox is back.
Toolbox.
Glad you love the profile pic. I do, man. I love that profile pic. I love you guys. I listen to Wake Up Warchant every day on the way to work and listen to the Jeff Cameron Show on the way home. Love you guys. Well, we appreciate that you allow us into your car or through your commute. Maybe you're on public transportation on the way up and the way back. So Toolbox, thank you for the contribution, and don't ever change that photo. Thank you very much. Next up on the docket will be, Corey's gallbladder's back. I don't think I've seen him since Dublin, but I remember meeting him in Dublin. He says 19 months of pain was worth the last 5 hours we just experienced. I was only hoping to keep it close. Lefroy it is for me tonight. Fantastic. Petey,
Nice,
delightful.
Lefroy.
Cheers and go Noles. Cheers to you, Corey's gallbladder. Thank you very much.
What a great name, too. People don't know that. Was it a couple of years ago? Corey had that taken out or something. That was a big, yeah.
That is correct. And little did we know, after the surgery, Corey's gallbladder would punch up youtube.com and create an account. It's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much. And the next up will be Thomas Coker, 77. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that contribution as well. If you have a question, make sure to include that next time because we'd love to interact with you.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you. Norley, I'm going to go with that G is silent. Norley says, when was the last time an FSU receiver laid out for a pass and caught it? Squirrel White is for real. Go Noles. Gene, you could brag on him in a second. I will say that when Squirrel was declared healthy for preseason camp, I know he had an issue come up. I think it was one of the scrimmages. That was huge news to me because when we signed him, his health status was a little bit in flux. But you go watch some of the things he did at Tennessee. And by the way, he kind of owns Alabama. He's had very good games against Alabama before today, and then he had a big game against Alabama, obviously that explosive play. I love how he adjusts to the football in the air. Some guys need the ball to be thrown perfectly to them in order for them to bring it in. Squirrel will go fight for it, and he fought for that play on a 3rd and 10 today that helped change the momentum of the game.
Yeah, big time. And I don't know if Nick or Ben, our producers, are in there, can pull this up. And our photographer on the field, Bob Myers, had a great photo of Squirrel laying out for that big catch. So, like you guys, if we get a chance at some point, not immediately, but at some point, you can pull that up and show that because it's unbelievable on that. And like you said, I have not seen that, Tom. Obviously, not since 2023. We definitely didn't see it last year.
Yeah.
And like I said, when that play happened, it was like I have not seen that. We didn't see one play like that all of last year. And we saw that early on in this game. So that kind of set the tone like, okay, all right, this is a different team. And they might be pretty good. And we saw they were really good tonight.
Yeah, that they were. We'll go to that photo after this caller. We'll go back to the phone lines. We're going to Priest in St. Pete. Priest, welcome to the program. We talked to you last year in November. Better times today. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's way better times now. I'm ready from ear to ear with excitement. I may not even go to sleep tonight. I'm so happy. I will say 2 people ain't happy. One of them is my dad. He's a Bama fan in Boaz, Alabama. And Paul Feinbaugh. He can kiss the Seminole.
Loser.
I mean, he's nuts. I'm so happy, guys. Have a drink. I'm surprised you guys can contain y'all's excitement. I do have a funny little question for y'all. What would make this win even better? Lee Corso at the stadium or Kirk Herstreak and Chris Fowler calling this game? I'll let y'all answer it, and y'all have a good one.
Well, thank you, Priest. We appreciate the energy.
Good call. I got to get to Sunshine Scooter, and I'm sure I've been asked a lot about this. That FSU is going to be something special for him. Set something up this year. I'm pretty sure they will be doing that, and I'm hoping it's the Miami game. Let's get him on the field. I don't know if he can spike the spear, but get him out at midfield holding the spear at least, and let's honor him and what he deserves.
He deserves
great representative of Florida State and just of college football in general and what he's done for so long. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I get the whole Herb Street. I can't stand his ass either and all the crap he pulled. But let's be positive about this and let's honor Lee.
Yeah, that's there have been very few that have been able to plant the spear. Mickey Andrews, Bobby Bowden, I believe Burt Reynolds had a shot at that. So and Lee should be on that list. There's no doubt. And if he 100%. Was the man to plant the spear for the Miami game, I can't even right now.
What if both teams are undefeated going into that game and Lee's out there? Oh,
people will have hype tears, not even like weepy tears. You just have those hype tears that you see like linebackers have when they're on the field. Like, I love this game so much. That's what you will see. We do have the photo loaded up. Director Nick, fantastic work. Let's see. This is from Bob Myers. Oh, look at him go get
it out. Bob Myers, our guy, getting that on the scene, all laid out. Well,
wow. That was, again, a humongous play. It almost looks like from that angle that the ball was going to hit the turf. It did not, everybody, I assure you. Because
there's another great photo in there, and this is from Melina Myers, who is, believe it or not, Bob's wife. They are a tandem, and she shoots for USA Today Photos, and she's done a lot of work for Warchant. And she had a great photo of Tommy's first touchdown, and it's in there. And don't worry, guys don't need to pull it up. We'll have it up later for people to see, but it's great. Tommy scoring the first touchdown when he runs in. And guess who's behind him going crazy? One P-Dub. Peter Warwick is in the background going nuts when he scores that touchdown. And, I mean, that just, again, I know Pete was around this weekend doing a lot of stuff. And, man, that's just – you just love to see those players come back and be able to enjoy that.
Yep. Yeah, you do. And Florida State did a good job of showcasing that today before the game kicked off. Being in the building, I got to see this part of it. Jordan Travis was put on the Jumbotron. And Jaheim Bell was put on the Jumbotron, and Peter Warwick was put on the Jumbotron. I saw Corey Simon out there today as well. Like, they did a good job of making sure that people through the generations got to feel that pull. The game day presentation was pretty solid.
Well done.
And today was, honestly, Gene, I don't want to make it this for 5 minutes, but at the higher level, things like this are very important. So for a group of people who bought founder suites and they invested a lot of money at West Side seating, and they had a lot of people with a lot of money in town this weekend, that result matters. And Florida State just got in a much better position today, I think, in the NIL game, and then also from booster support, because this is a high-profile moment for the university, and they landed.
You had that very slim. That's a great point, Tommy. That very slim fear that it was coming off the rails, and that suddenly you were going to become Wake Forest, or I shouldn't even say Wake Forest because they've been pretty good, but you're going to be becoming, I don't know, Boston College or somebody, where you're just going to be a mediocre ACC team, and then no one's going to want to bring you into their conference. Again, that was a slight fear. It's gone now. Florida State's still Florida State. And Corey wrote that comment you brought up about Florida State is still Florida State. This is one of the premier programs in college football. Last year was an aberration. It's done. We moved on, and we proved it tonight on national TV.
I'm going to take the stick here, Director Nick, for just a moment to thank a few people in rapid fire succession. We thank you all. Every contribution.
Yeah, there's so many.
Greatly appreciated. It literally is over 70 tonight already so far. So thank you, everybody. Garrett PCL says FSU is now 3 for 3 on SEC openers in the Mike Norvell era. Go Noles. We were saying that.
Let's make a T-shirt. It's got to be something 3-0 against the SEC in openers.
Let's petition to move Bama to week 1 next year. Let's do it. Sydney Sweeney fan club. I'm just so thankful for Alfred, Mike, hiring Tony and Gus. Just wow. Yeah, we were kind of hitting on that. It's a big moment for the AD. It's a big moment for the BOT. Like everybody around the program this weekend. This is a good one. Santa Knoll. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight? He says, how about that? Plus 14 FSU. The demon has been exorcised. Go Noles. Thank you so much for being a premier member as well, brother.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. Joey says, so happy, boys. Thank you all for everything, and go Noles. Well, thank you, Joey. We appreciate your support. You don't have to do this, but your token of gratitude is our token to say thank you very, very much. First name John says, who had us beating the effing S out of Alabama? FSU Revenge Tour Take 2. Why not? Right, Gene?
I appreciate the PG-13.
Why not, though, right? I mean, dare to dream. Dare to dream. That was an impressive effort today. Best part is going to be watching Feinbaum this week. I can't, Nick. I won't. Game ball court, but I understand if you want to hate watch it, feel free.
He'll just say, I don't know. He'll make some excuse.
Game ball goes to the coordinators. We have toughness again. Holy cow, Mike did it. He did tonight. Yes, Jeff said he was showing cheeks if we won. Thank you, first name John.
Oh.
Mr. Pico said, between Arch Man Crush and SEC bias, a bad day for Paul. Yeah, you're not kidding. And then we've got a couple new members we want to thank. Oh, did you join twice? Why do I have 2 notifications? Martell, thank you very much.
Thanks for a YouTube member, guys. You get a lot of access with YouTube memberships, man. It's a great way to join us.
You'll get advanced access to a lot of stuff we do, and then some shows that are also
Get emojis, special emojis.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
And last one before we go back to the phone lines, Alan, thank you so much for the super sticker. If you have a question, make sure next time to send it, but we really appreciate the contribution. Next up on the phones will be Richard in Cummings, Georgia. Richard, we last talked to you after the Florida game last year. Again, much better times. How are you doing this evening, and welcome to the program.
Yes, absolutely. This was a much better performance. I thought I'd be jumping for joy. I'm kind of like sitting back and taking a deep breath. I had a buddy of mine who actually played for Gus at Auburn. And he told me going into the year, he's like, you guys are good on offense. He will take care of you. When the defense started and they went right down the field, I started getting texts from people saying, oh, here we go again. This is Dublin. I was thinking, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys thought. It just seemed like the way Georgia Tech went down the field compared to Alabama, it was like you could see Little kind of getting things in place. You could kind of see that it was, okay, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing. It was way different than Dublin. What do you guys think?
Yes, I'll take that first, Gene. Dublin was scripted, and Dublin was one of those things that you could tell that Georgia Tech was going to the left and Florida State was going right, vice versa. That was carefully calculated, and it was on schedule. It was a thing of beauty, but it was also about tendency breakers and all that kind of stuff. Florida State had to go make some plays on that first drive that weren't like wide open because they were schemed open. Of course, the squirrel play is one of them. But Tommy had to make a couple of plays. They had to get physical in a couple of moments there. It wasn't one of those perfect scripts where you're like, oh, they just found something in Womack's history as a defensive coordinator that he's going to be susceptible to. They had to go earn that drive. It felt a little different. And also, I would note, on the heels of Alabama taking almost 9 minutes off the clock, Florida State only took about 3 to execute that drive. So after 2 drives, you're thinking, man, Alabama had to earn every yard to barely get a touchdown. Florida State kind of just went down the field. What were your thoughts on that first drive?
Yeah, I think, Tom, you kind of nailed early on in terms of what the defense was, because you look at this like, well, they went Alabama methodically down the field, but they had to earn every one of those yards. They had to convert a couple third down. They had to convert a fourth down on that. And then the other side of the ball. But that's what Gus does. I mean, wherever he's been, whether it's UCF, whether it's Auburn, that's how his offenses work. They get teams off balance. So I was not surprised to see that. I mean, we're surprised because of Florida State, what we saw last season. So now it wasn't a surprise to me. And really, I think both coordinators, we saw that early on. It was a totally different mentality on both sides of the ball.
To the 7,000 plus of you across the Warchant multimedia footprint, we say welcome to the Warchant Game Day postgame show after a big win. This is kind of nice, isn't it, everybody? Just smile for a minute. This is really cool. We're happy to be with you here. To the 1,700 plus that are on YouTube right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free at Warchant TV. So much of our excellent content is free to you on Warchant TV. So please give us a look, because you're going to enjoy it. If you're here, you're happy, clearly. I don't think, last year we had a lot of hate watchers come in, Gene, from different fan bases.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think a lot of Alabama fans are watching this right now. And too bad.
If they're here, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, maybe they're saying, I'm thankful to y'all because I want DeBoer fired. Well, you're welcome. Okay, there we go. We're getting the ball rolling on that particular argument. I hear that director Nick Carlisle has procured a photo of who broke the rock. Nick, would you mind letting us know? Oh, look.
There it is, Tommy.
So the man who broke the rock when fall camp was over, and I'm going to credit this verbally to Florida State Sports Information, Florida State Athletics, just so they don't get angry with us. The man who broke the rock after fall camp was over, Josh Storms, gave the hammer to Tommy Castellanos. Frankly, Gene, I thought that video didn't have a lot of spirit in it. I was like, okay, it seems like the guys are whatever about it. I'm sure that locker room was coming apart as Tommy broke the rock after Florida State starts 1-0 with a 31-17 win. That's an awesome photo. I always love looking at the people around him. That's really a great moment for Florida State.
There it is. That's what I was talking about. Look at P-Dub.
Oh,
that is just pure joy of a great Nole.
Is that Dalvin behind him? I didn't know Dalvin was here. Maybe they showed him on the
does
screen.
look a little bit like Dalvin.
No, yeah, I'm getting the thumbs up from the director. So maybe they showed
we
him
got
the screen.
Dalvin and P-Dub back there.
I want to. You know what? Sorry, Florida State. I'm sure you showed him on the jumbotron. I just didn't see it. Look at that. You've got layers of greatness, and we'll see what Tommy Castellanos is in his FSU career. But he was great today. And Florida State, as an unranked team, remind yourself of this. Florida State was unranked. They just beat a top 10 opponent in Alabama. Melina Myers had that photo. Actually, if you don't mind, Nick, pull that back up just for a couple more seconds. Take that in. Like, folks.
How good does that feel to see that?
I mean, we were 2-10 last year, and now you get this.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for going and grabbing that, Nick. And thank you, Melina, for shooting that. That's an amazing photo. That's an all-timer right there. Back to the phone lines we go to Boise, Idaho. Love that this post-game show is around.
Another boy. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know, I was up there in late June. I was up in Montana, man. Enjoyed it a ton. Went to some of the national parks up there. What a beautiful state that is, man. Thank you.
Well, Tom and Boise, it's your turn. Welcome to the program. What you got, good sir?
Hey, how you doing, Gene? How you doing, Tom? Hey, why don't you guys come out to my house? I live on 3 acres. I live by the river. I got a mountain behind me, and do a live show. And bring Michael, bring everybody out there, and we'll have a good time. I got a couple questions for you. I was at the game in 2015 when we lost DeAndre Francois against Alabama. That's when Jimbo just basically quit.
Yeah.
Once we lost our quarterback, and that season was garbage. And I'm sitting here in the sports bar today with my Florida State jersey on, and I'm hearing all these people just talking trash. And you have no idea that it was so great that we had the opportunity to kick the living hell out of Alabama. That just made my day. I was at a Boise State game Friday night, and they look awful, and they got their ass handed to them. But the question I want to know, I didn't see Kai Bates out there today. I didn't see Charles Lester and Shereen Brown. He just looks lost. I think he's just going to drop you even farther down on the depth chart. But I give a shout out to everybody, and also bring Terry with you. That's a great guy. He's awesome. But I just wanted to get your point on that. Like I said, I just recovered from knee surgery, so it's the first time I got out in 9 weeks, and it happened to be a great day. So thank you. And the worst thing about it, my doctor is from the University of Miami, and he was just running his mouth too. So
oh boy!
Now I got Crow when I go back and see him in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna run my mouth. So I can't wait till Miami plays us, and we kick the piss out of them.
You got it, Tom. Hey, when you see that doctor,
like I said, anytime you guys want to come out here, my house is open to you guys. We got 4-wheelers. We got everything you want out here. A big old live river that you can fish out there, and it's incredible. So, and come out here anytime. You guys are more than welcome, guys.
Well, thank you, Tom. We
Sounds
appreciate
great,
that.
Tom.
I'll tell you what. I'll bet the sky at night looks beautiful in Boise.
Oh my God! It's just the whole,
It is. I got one other question for you, Tom.
Yeah, what you got?
I don't see your Yankee poster there.
No, I'm a Met.
Mets.
I'm a
Shea
Met.
Stadium.
Shea Stadium. So it's right there on the screen.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
I know. It's all good. That's all good. I'm a Met. We're the redheaded stepchild of New York, and we have pride. And maybe I can do a show on that at some point, but not today.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, the director's buzzing me. Screw
Nice,
you, man.
nice. Hey, and always tell that doctor, that Kane doctor, every time he starts running his mouth, ask him how many ACC championships they have. That shuts him down every time.
Yeah. As many as that doctor does himself personally. Zero. Yeah, there's going to be some nerves in his voice next when Tom goes for the follow-up. And Tom, continued health to you on your recovery.
Yeah, Tom, yeah.
Hope everything goes well there. Thank you for that call. It's an excellent call. Gene, was there a question in there other than trying to badger me about my MLB
Well,
team?
he asked about a few players that really, I don't think we saw out there tonight.
Oh, right. Well, Shaheem had been persona non grata or by omission persona non grata.
Yeah, he'd been demoted. He was a backup, but I don't know if I did not see him on the field. I'm looking at the defensive stats. I don't see him listed as somebody who recorded a tackle, so I don't know if he played.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would qualify that as something that was expected before the game. And we had covered that, and we had spoken about that at some length. But that's a good way to point to tomorrow on warchant.com.
We'll have snap counts, so we'll let you know
counts.
if he got out there or not.
Yep, exactly. And you know what? Defensively, a lot of guys got out there. I won't go through all the lists, but I saw a Desir out there. KJ Sampson made his way onto the field today, which I didn't think that we were going to see. A lot of defensive linemen specifically were in the rotation. I mentioned also Blake Nicholson a little bit earlier. Let me get to a couple more super chats. I'm going to take this one. Director B-Ham Noel, Tommy for Heisman. There you go. You can start it right now.
Yeah.
Again, his stats from tonight, I'm going to pull it back up. His stats, 9 of 14. We only threw the ball 14 times for 152 yards. I'll take over 10 yards per attempt, Gene Williams. That's fantastic. And then 16 carries for 78 yards. He was sacked one time. So his rushing yard total is over 80. He had the one touchdown, but I think one of those key plays of the game, that always comes down to, coaches talk about this all the time, 3 or 4 key moments. One of those was the 3rd and 10 play, and then good on Gus for going tempo right after it for Tommy to score the touchdown to get Florida State on the board. Was that the best Tommy looked? Asked Bubba. Solid all around. We saw a pretty good version of Tommy Castellanos when Florida State traveled up to Chestnut Hill in 2023. But I will tell you, Gene, I was very impressed in some of the decisions he made to slide early, throw the ball away a couple of times.
He did a couple of times. I'm like, don't force this, throw it away, and he did. So he's matured as a quarterback, but I don't think we've seen the ceiling yet. I think he can still pass better. He can make a few better decisions in his progression. So he's getting there.
Yep.
So pretty excited to see what we saw to Tommy. This is obviously an awesome start for him.
Was he perfect? No. There's some things he'd clean up for sure, but he was pretty darn good.
And in terms of Heisman, you brought that up. He's ahead of Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're taking a poll right now, he's ahead of him.
Boy, 7 points. What the hell, Texas? Ohio State lost like 20 dudes. What the hell was that? Joey and Kelly say second hour from Corey Clark coming. That's right. Hour number 2 on headlines. Thank you very much for the contribution there. Let's see. Kay Hartman. I'm going to go with Cartman. Awesome. 2005. Welcome to the fold. Thank you very much for joining us here on Warchant Premier. You won't be disappointed. B-Ham Noel says, not here to play around. Let's start the campaign. He talked it. He walked it. Tommy for Heisman.
Who's got that website? Tommy for Heisman.
As long as Florida State doesn't have a press conference announcing it, I'm fine with it. Sky is the limit, guys, says D-Strict. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We did with some other choice words. I'm sure that's referring to something earlier, but Brad, thank you for dipping back in. And last one before we go back to the phone lines is Harlan, who says, Tom, I'm going to have to see you before every game and give you the right gate. Go Noles. That is true. I was walking. I needed to meet Spartan Noles. Well, I needed to find gate B. And as I recalled, it was over by Hauser, like on that side of the stadium. But I saw Harlan. And I said, dude, I haven't gone to a game in years. So is B over that way? And he said, yeah. So thank you, Harlan. Hopefully we can be good omens for each other moving forward. Back to the callers we go. And if you're in the calling queue right now, if you're on with Terry, you've been screened, you're good to go. I see that we've got 2 people that have yet to speak to Terry. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye at some point here.
We're about 2 hours into this thing.
Yeah, I see Quint and Eric and Austin and Joe. No more callers for tonight. That's why I pulled the number off. But if you're in the queue right now, we will get you on the air. And that's why we go now to, looks like Riverview with Quint. Is that correct? Quint, welcome to the program.
Hey, I couldn't wait to make this phone call. I got a couple points I want to make. If the offensive line play like this, we can win a lot of games. Tony White wasn't lying about Mandrill this year. They go out to up his NIL. And then what do ESPN, Josh Pate, J.D. Piquel, and listen to this, Warchant all got in common? Neither one of us gave us a chance to win.
Yep, true.
Put us in the top 25, and I'll see y'all next weekend at the game. And I'm out.
I love you, Quint. Thank you very much.
In and out. Well done. Quint, my favorite character from Jaws.
Fair. I wouldn't go quite on the level of didn't give us a chance. In fact, if you listen to the wildly popular Jeff Cameron show yesterday, I said I wouldn't be shocked if Florida State scored the upset. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Alabama won by several scores because Florida State was a great mystery. There's just so much new this year. But I said it, and you can find it. I wouldn't be shocked if Florida State scored the upset. Did I call for it? No. I thought we would have covered today. And guess what, Gene? We didn't only cover. If you picked Noles on the money line today, you made yourself a couple of dollars. You made yourself some real coin as Florida State not only answered the bell when they were down 7-0, Florida State really took control of this game from the midpoint of the first quarter all the way into about the 10 or 8 minute mark of the third quarter. Got a little dicey from that point. Then they closed strong. But Florida State really, as you were taking breaks at halftime, first couple of commercial breaks in the third quarter, Florida State like straight up owned the moment. Yeah. This wasn't a fluke.
No. And I really thought before that muff punt, when they did that, I really thought they're not going to win this thing. They could really just, at that point you thought, because they stopped Alabama, they're getting the ball back near midfield. I'm like, they could just blow these effers out. I mean, it could really get ugly pretty quick. And that gave Alabama a little bit of life. Now, they didn't convert on that, but I think it did shift the momentum at that point a little bit. But yeah, that's the thing about this. This wasn't a fluke. Yep. This was a win. Florida State won this game on both sides of the ball. And that's what makes this so exciting for this season, because this isn't just a one-off. It looks like Florida State could be pretty damn good this season.
Yeah, I would like that comment from Chris Lima to come back up. Good job, Director Nick. Absolutely amazing what good coaches can do for players, he says. For years, fans have been begging for better coaches, and now we have 2 legit coordinators and an offensive line coach who doesn't rotate guys like a dumbass. Okay, that last part's really funny. But it did, and I've talked about this a little earlier tonight, Gene, but it looked like a professional operation tonight.
Yeah.
It was
how amazing a first game and everybody's buttoned up. I can't remember the first opening game. Even when you go back to those LSU wins, which were glorious.
Yep.
It was not as buttoned up as this. There were still communication issues. There was a lot of mess ups here and there. This looked like they were in mid-season form. It was amazing to see.
If you're in the call-in room, Eric, Austin, Joe, we're coming to you soon. Terry, the 813 caller that's in the queue is also good to go. I'm sorry to say to 561 and 603, we already had signed off in terms of new callers. So we hope to get to you next time. If you're in the 561 or 603, we got 4 callers remaining, but here we go with a couple more comments that we got to thank some folks. Santinol, my man, back again. Dave says, on the JCS, we had an in the dark W's and L's. We did one yesterday. With this win, what would it be now? Will we be ranked?
You're ranked.
Yeah, I can't answer the first question, but Gene, I think that's a fair question for us to talk about briefly here. Florida State should be ranked, and set the over/under for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, put yourself in the Vegas. You're sitting there. You're in Vegas. You're setting the over/under. It was 7.5. Obviously, that's blown out now. I don't know if I'm setting it at 8. I guess I'm sitting at 8.5. Although I'm tempted to go 9.5. What do you think, Tom?
I'm thinking 8 or 9.5, but I'm going to ask you to set the top 25 over under though. What do you think? 18th, 20th, 21st. I don't know that they're going to, because a lot of teams end up winning an opening weekend because they play patsies. We played a top 10 team and controlled the game. So we got to be in the party, but where do you think?
I'm saying inside the top 20.
Okay. All right.
They should be. Now, who knows what the pollsters will do. But
yeah,
it was a national TV game. It was Alabama. There's a lot of splash value to winning a game like that. They'd have to put in the top 20.
Yeah, the nonsense thing that's going to happen is Alabama's still going to be ranked ahead of Florida State after this game.
They will be.
Yeah, you watch. Troy Noles
got blown out, but yeah, they'll still be.
To our point, Troy Noel, love that photo as well. That's a photo from Hotel Indigo, which everybody who came by today, thank you. It was wild. It got really crowded out there.
Oh, I left about midway into your show, so it picked up.
Well, yes. When you left, there were probably about 30, 40 people inside and out. It got about double that. If that was, we'll put it this way, back in the day for Florida State folks, people who went here, AJ's would have been shaking. That roof would have been, that would have had a problem.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah, outstanding. Troy says, we got to be in the top 20 after that win. Go Noles. We love you, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm going to go to Beham Noel again. Not here to play around. Oh, no. Here to do that. Sorry. Forgive me. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. Isn't it great? There you go. A little bit of old school Florida State sentiment right here. Martell, thanks for joining the channel, and thank you for that comment. Yuckmouth is one of our resident positive people, and he says, bless you, good sir.
Thank you.
He says, feels good knowing that Bama fans will be rolling back home in a tide of tears. Well done. That is well.
I've seen a trail of tears down I-10 the whole way.
That's right. Feels even better to be able to celebrate this victory with y'all. Thank you very much, Yuckmouth. And give me a cha-ching, Director Nick. Evanland. Again, I love that. It sounds like a good country. Tom, after picking us to go 8-4 on JCS, does this game change your mind? Yes. Yes, it does. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you for the question. Yeah, my mind has changed. This could get real fun real fast. I believe Could this be? It's Eric in Tallahassee. Let's find out which Eric
is it? Is it?
Welcome to the program, Eric. Go ahead. We look forward to your call. What you got?
Stop! Gee!
It is Eric Angel, my man!
Let's go!
Welcome, brother.
I told Eric to call in. I said, we're going to win your call in, buddy. You did it.
I did, bro. Who they gonna beat them Noles? Who owns the FCC? Florida State! Florida State! Florida State!
Oh, he's got a crowd around him. All right, Eric, what else you got? Thank you for that electric open.
I'm sitting here with Heather, my friend, and we want to know, I believe this recruiting is going to go up, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Already got a commitment, Eric.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate the call. To you and Heather, hope you're having an excellent post-game tailgate.
Is Heather a corner pocket, Heather?
I can't imagine that Heather T, is he with Ron and Heather? It could be. Could be. He said his friend, so maybe it's a lady friend of his. This game between Alabama and Miami, Gene, I thought the Miami game was more important to the long-term trajectory for the program. But I said it a million times, I thought the Alabama game was more important for the 2026 recruiting class. It just got real for 2026 recruiting.
Fair.
Because
because who was at the game, and including, like you mentioned, all the heavy hitters, the NIL people, the boosters, all that. Because right now, trust me, they're getting liquored up. Those checkbooks are opening up.
100%. 100%. And if you are not a member of the inner circle of Florida State athletics and jonesing for money right now while you're throwing back shots, you're not doing your job. You got to go get that money. This is your moment. Stamp the moment and take advantage of it. Create momentum for yourself on the trail. I love that question, Eric, and also that call was excellent. Let's get one more round of applause for Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for calling in, buddy. He's one of the OGs too.
He is. Usually he's worth like 3 or 4 F-bombs.
He sounded relatively sober too for Eric. Come on, buddy. You're lacking. You're slacking right now.
He did. Oh, great. No laugh tracks. This is not a sitcom, but I really appreciate the effort there. That's funny. We got a couple other contributions we got to get to. Director Nick, what you got for us? Let's see. From the chat, we have. I probably should call for social. Spitfire says, "Here's a beer. Cheers, fellas. Go Noles." Fair enough. Hit the social button. Everybody, You ready to have a drink with me? Ready to have a drink with Gene?
Let's do it. Cheers. Go Noles.
Pour it up and enjoy 1-0. This is such a good show.
Damn, this is going down too smooth, Tom. This is trouble.
Gene, this is my second pour.
Yeah, this is my third.
It was 3 on the first one. It was 3 on the second one. We got problems here. We got problems at the
penthouse. To Uber out to corner pocket tonight. Let's see. Yeah, I think we still got time to do that.
9:20. You gonna go? I might see you there.
I think it's in the cards.
Well, if you could promise me that I don't have to get up early tomorrow, I'm not doing you. But if
you're not the one having to write the PFF column in the morning, that's me.
No, I don't. Please don't make me suffer with you. David Dunbar says, "Bring on Bama." Oh wait.
Oh yeah, wait.
Oh, I love that.
They're already like, can we get them off the schedule for next year? We don't really want to do that.
So many fan bases say the "we want Bama" thing. Yeah, well, we wanted Bama, and look at that.
Look what happened.
I'm glad we didn't cancel that game. Next up, let's see. Walt Moody says, "Knoll Tide." Oh, I love that.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you, Walt.
T-shirts, Knoll Tide.
Thank you very, very much, Walt. We'll go to one more. Let's see. Team Jabroni. Oh, my God, another wrestling reference. Nick Paul and Joe Kohler tried telling you about these boys. Go Noles, baby. I'm sure they did. Nick Paul is actually a great forward. Well, a great $2 million forward in the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I don't know if he was that guy or just another Nick Paul. But thank you, Team Jabroni. We very much appreciate you. One more before we go back to the phones, and that would be Bishop 2828. Bishop, thank you so much. Looking outstanding in that suit you got there in your avatar. Crazy part is FSU would have beat them worse if they don't slow down the offense to burn clock. And that is true. They did get conservative, Gene. They did. I don't think they knew what to do with the lead.
Like I said, they did not have a play call sheet for what do we do against a top 10 team that we're up by 2 scores late in the game. But no, that's absolutely right. They could have, but they did the right thing. There was no reason to push it. I think the defense was playing well enough. It's going to be really difficult for Alabama to make up 2 scores. So absolutely did what they needed to do.
Robert, welcome to the fold. Hope you enjoy those emojis.
Remember,
yeah.
Giddy up.
Make sure to use those emojis in the chat. Thank you for being a part of what we do here at Warchant TV. Next up on the list, we go to Austin in Tallahassee. Austin, have we talked to you before? Or are you a new caller? Welcome to the program.
New caller, guys. How about those Noles, Tom and Gene?
How about them?
How about them, Austin?
How about them, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys have been going for 2 hours now, so I'll try to make it quick. I just thought it was an absolute incredible win for the Noles. I don't have a specific question, but a few things I wanted to say. You know, sitting there in full transparency during Alabama's first drive, I kind of thought, man, here we go again. But after that, the Noles drove right back down, all the way down the field, and I think they completely dominated after that aspect. I think Gus got in a groove that entire first half, slowed down a little bit to start the second half, but every time they needed a big play, I feel like they just leaned on Castellano's legs, and it just seemed to keep the momentum going, and we never kind of stalled out. Last thing, there was a palpable difference in Tallahassee tonight when this football team is good. I was at Bumpa's on the patio. It was absolutely electric. Great environment. It was just a blast to watch the team. Tom and Gene, you guys are great. I'm an avid listener of all the Warchant programs. You guys have a great night. Let's enjoy this win, and everybody be safe. Bye, guys.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you, Austin. That's part of it. Everybody be safe tonight. 100%. Be enthusiastic. Be a little bit brash. Be arrogant. You earned it tonight. Like, we've been through a lot, everybody, but also be safe. And Austin, thank you for supporting us.
I also brought that up too, how they answered too. You know what? When Alabama went down and scored, we're all getting nervous in the second half. And then to put together that freaking drive with converting the 4th down, which I still am like, I'm just freaking nuts about that they did that, and they pulled it off, and it go all the way through there. I mean, that just showed to answer. That's something obviously we didn't see last year. We rarely ever saw to answer a team just punch you back, and you went back and you just gutted them. You did what you needed to do to take in. That was the game when they went down and scored late in the half.
Yeah, and he was right about that too. Like, there were swaths that Florida State, and so were Eugene. There were swaths of the game that after you traded blows the first 2 drives, where you just thought, oh my God, is Florida State like the better team? It was just, what a wild feeling.
That was weird. That was the whole thing about this game. It just, I thought they might win, and you mentioned that, JCS everywhere else. They got a shot to win this game. I didn't see a scenario where they're going to dominate them and really be clearly the better team.
Yeah, correct. I didn't see that coming. Like, at 24-7, I'm like, holy crap, are we going to win like 40-10? Like, it felt like that for just a moment.
They could have. It was definitely in the cards.
We now go live outside of Doak Campbell Stadium.
We have to bring this schlub on.
Whoa, what the hell? This is the greatness right here. He just...
Oh!
Yes, that's the director booing Gene. This is our managing editor of warchant.com. His name is Ira Schofel, and he joins us from, I'm sure, a musty and humid-laden parking deck just outside of the stadium. Ira, what the hell just happened?
I'm just giving you shit, man, because I'm about 10 fingers into this.
I wish I was right there with you. No, man, I caught the end of what you guys were saying there, and that was the thing about it. And Corey and I talked about in the post-game wrap is there was nothing fluky about this. This wasn't a game where Florida State just hit a couple of big plays and held on for dear life. They were the better football team in every area. They were the more physical team. They were the more explosive team, which I never would have expected. When you look at Alabama's wide receivers, Florida State was the smarter team. I thought they were the most well-coached team, and they were also the most disciplined team. And that, again, man, like those are all things that you know you can carry over as long as they keep playing that way. But man, it's not just the win, it's how they win. And coming into the game, that's what we talked about. If they lose, it could be okay if they lose and play the right way. Well, they played the right way and kicked Alabama's ass. So I mean, it was just everything you could hope for. Even though, and like you guys said, it could have been worse. There's plays they could have made on both sides of the ball to blow that game wide open, and they still won by 2 touchdowns.
And the first thing I got to ask you about, and we watched this obviously mostly, I know Tom was there for about a quarter and a half watching this on TV, as loud as it sound to us on TV, and I'm surprised Tessitore and Palmer were on there talking about, even though the capacity went down, this is as loud as they've ever heard it. Talk about what that environment was like. How was the new Doe Campbell in an epic game like this?
It was loud, and you could tell it. I mean, you could see the impact it had on Alabama's offense. I mean, they had delays of game, they had false starts, they had to call multiple timeouts to kind of regroup and avoid delay of games or false starts. They were rattled, and you know, part of it is Ty Simpson's a first-time starting quarterback on the road, and that was kind of one of the reasons we thought, well, Florida State's got a shot here if this doesn't start off well for Alabama. But then it did start off well for them. Alabama has that great drive. He picks up some first downs with his legs. They get a fourth down conversion, and it felt like, okay, well, Alabama may have found something here. But then as the game went on, Florida State took away the running game. Then Ty Simpson, once he had to start dropping back and looking through the defense and trying to make passes to his progressions, he was affected by that pass rush. But the crowd was huge. The crowd was awesome. You know, we were so worried. A lot of people were really worried about, you know, with the club's seating on the sidelines, whether or not the fans would actually come out and watch the game or not. The Champions Club, that's been the big issue with the Champions Club in the end zone for the last, 10 years now, that a lot of times the fans would go inside when it was hot and not be outside in the crowd. They were all outside. I mean, I think they made some changes to the sight lines. It's not as comfortable to watch from inside anymore. And it all paid off, man. The fans were awesome. The students were incredible. They were it was everything you could hope for. Doak was rocking, even though it was not 85,000 fans. Maybe it was 70,000 fans. But, yeah, you couldn't tell the difference. The fans were awesome tonight.
One of the kind of running debates on the show we've had right now, a good discussion we've had is who's made the bigger impact on both sides of the ball. One of the things that really struck me about this is how buttoned up things were on both sides of the ball for an opening game, which usually there's a lot of things you got to work out, some kinks you got to get done, and how the communication was good, how people were not missing their assignments. Obviously, major upgrades on both sides of the ball in terms of the coordination. Who made the bigger impact? Was it Tony White? Was it Gus Malzahn? What did you see going on both sides of the ball?
I'm going to be real brave here, guys, and I'm going to say it's a dead heat.
Oh, come on, Ira.
Dude, they were both. I mean, how could you pick one over the other?
Yeah,
I mean, I thought going into this season, I talked about it on the Warchant Report, I've talked about it on different shows and things I've written, that I was really confident in the offense just because of the players they brought in, what we've seen out of Tommy Castellanos in the past, the offensive linemen they brought in, and Gus Malzahn calling plays. I just was very confident the offense would be able to move the ball. I did not know about the defense. I was curious about the defense. And after that first drive, I felt pretty good about my concerns. But I was really impressed by Tony White clearly. And we saw it in the way he talked to us during preseason camp, when he talked about players needing to step their ass up and guys needing to play the way they're capable of playing, or they're not going to get on the field. You can go sit your ass down. I mean, these players took it to heart. And what was really impressive to me was not just the improvement of guys like Justin Cryer and Ashlyn Barker and Earl Little and guys that we've seen in the past, but the way, everybody hit, like every single guy in that defense hit, and guys, like, you felt that. Like, they were the more physical team on defense, and I thought that they were not perfect on defense. There were some plays where there were plays to be made for Alabama, but I think what happens is maybe the tight end slips coming out of his break, or the receiver doesn't look for running yards. I mean, the more you hit guys, the more physically imposing you are, it affects those guys. And I thought Alabama was clearly affected by the way Florida State was hitting throughout the entire game.
Last thing I want to ask you before I pass it on to Tom, who's got a couple follow-ups on this, is the stat I opened this show with was Florida State rushing yards 230, Alabama 87. There's no world, no universe I saw that ever happening. How is that possible that Alabama can't run against Florida with the trenches? We all went into this thinking that is where they have the distinct advantage, but it was 180 from what we thought. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go back to the swarming defense. Florida State, man, they brought so many hats to the ball, and then they were physical when they got there. The scheme, I think, was good. It was sound. And then, I think on the other side of the ball, man, Gus Malzahn just called an unbelievable game. I mean, I think he was in his bag, as the kids say, right? I mean, the plays he dialed up, and then they ran hard. I mean, again, even Jalen Lucas ran hard. Roydell Williams had some good runs. Gavin Sawchuk at the end, like we said, and Usman Cromwell looked really good. I mean, it's a Keziah Holmes, his touchdown run down near the goal line. It was cool. It was just, that was the thing about this game, is they had so many guys involved. And the scary thing about it, and again, I'm not trying to build these guys up bigger than we need to, but the kind of scary thing about it is you didn't get much out of some of the guys that we thought were going to be the top players. I mean, Deuce Robinson didn't have a big game. Javen Boggs didn't record any catches. He had one opportunity. Those are guys that we expected to do a lot. Landon Thomas, Amari Williams. There's a lot more firepower in this offense, and that's kind of amazing when you think about what we just saw.
Ira, a question just for kind of fun here. Your thoughts on what's emptier, the parking garage behind you or Alabama fans' spirits after tonight's game?
Man, that's a disaster. I mean, think about the fact that Alabama hadn't lost a season opening game in 24 years. They have not started a season 0-1 in 24 years. They come into this season with, there are concerns about Kalen DeBoer, but there was so much excitement because they got Grubb back. We got the gang back together again. They've got a quarterback in Ty Simpson that they were so excited about. You think about some of the players. They brought in some transfers. They brought in some highly acclaimed transfers. So they had every reason to be excited. I thought maybe my favorite comment from Mike Norvell in the postgame press conference was he said, it wasn't hard to find people talking positively about Alabama's offensive line and Alabama's wide receivers coming into this game. And he's like, I'm not trying to slight them, but everybody expected them to have their way with Florida State. And so, man, they've got to be crushed. And as concerned as Florida State fans were over the last, 12, 14 months about whether or not they have the wrong head coach, I think Alabama fans probably feel like they know the answer because it's been a disaster so far.
It has. All right. I've got, let's see, one more fun question. But before I ask you the fun question, Ira, I do want to ask this. I asked Gene this question earlier tonight, which is Florida State's identity. We can all overreact to one game, but Florida State does have a ramp up before they take on Virginia and Miami back here at home, which now that ticket just got a lot more expensive. Your thoughts after watching those 60 minutes, how would you define Florida State football's identity as a team?
I just think it's exactly what Mike Norvell said to us in preseason camp. It is a team that will fight. It is exactly what he said because to me, again, Gus Malzahn's going to dial up some good plays. You have some speed, Jalen Lucas, Mekhi Danzy. You've got some talent in the skill positions, and you have a pretty good offensive line. Now, the depth concerns on the offensive line aren't going to go away because of what happened tonight. If anything happens to those starters, you feel pretty good about the starters tonight, right now, but that's still not a real deep position. Wide receiver still not a real deep position, and that position didn't play very well tonight after having a great camp. So there's still some concerns, but man, the couple of moments, and I asked Mike Norvell about it in the post-game press conference, where Jalen Lucas muffs that punt, and then the defense just bows up and gets the ball right back for the offense. Gavin Sawchuk just icing the game with that touchdown run. Some of the fourth down run on their own side of the field, at their own 34, 35-yard line, Mike Norvell only up by 7 points. If you give it up there, if you give them the ball right there, it could be a tie game in 2 seconds.
Well, honestly, sorry to cut you off. What were you thinking there? Because we know we've had these discussions about Mike Norvell and those fourth down calls. That fourth down in that situation, and again, I think everything is independent. This was different because you were dominating the trenches, so it's a little different than last year. Were you okay with them going for that? Because Tessitore is freaking out on TV when he made that call.
I was actually having a conversation with another member of the media, not on our staff, but somebody that everybody that's watching this would know, and I'm not going to out them. They were basically saying, what is he doing? And I was like, and I've usually thought that about Mike Norvell, some of Mike Norvell's decisions. But honestly, I was like, man, you're up 7 in the fourth quarter against Alabama. You're playing with house money. And I know the fans would have killed him if it backfired, and we probably would have ripped him on this show. But from a standpoint of where you are after last season, you're unranked. They're number 8. Man, go win the freaking game. I thought it was exactly the right call. What did you guys say?
Gene, I don't think was.
I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm always like, I'm not an analytics guy. I hate the analytics stuff because every game is different. But they were dominating in the trenches. So
they were.
I was iffy. I was kind of back and forth on the call. And this goes back to another point. And one thing that ESPN did that I was very happy about is they called out Luke Pettibone, for how well he played in this game. Those guys rarely get calls in this game. I can't wait to see his PFF grade. He's my dark horse for the MVP of this game. I know Tommy Castellanos broke the rock. But and I don't know if you saw more stuff in the trenches, Ira, but man, to me, that is the story of the game, how Florida State, this vaunted, Alabama defense, how they were able to basically control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think it was everything that we've heard about, and I think Tom and Dominic Robinson have talked about when they've done their video breakdowns about Gus's rushing offense. And I go back to, going back to in the spring when I talked to Brett Williams, former Florida State offensive lineman, and he was like, "Man, I'm so excited. I love what Gus Malzahn does on offense." And so, Gus has taken a lot of shots over the last few years. It didn't go well at UCF. It didn't end well at Auburn. But one more thing I wanted to touch on, and I think I mentioned it maybe on the Warchant Report or something else, but not a lot. We haven't talked about this a lot because I didn't want to put it out there and then them go get steamrolled. But I've heard a few people this offseason tell me how much that man, Gus Malzahn, hates Alabama. And so, and people who, Gus is not the most popular guy in that locker room or in that team because he is a tough guy to like. He's a tough guy to spend time with. He doesn't make small talk. He's not Mr. Friendly. He's not telling jokes. He's not Mike Norvell. But everybody you talk to is like, man, he hates Alabama. He really hates Alabama. And I thought, again, like the way he coached those guys up, how physical they were, it felt like they embodied that. And listen, man, Florida State fans have a reason to hate Alabama too. The snub happened. And it may not have been their fault.
I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, that's redemption, man. It's payback.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I just thought I was really impressed. And Herb Hand, you got to give him a ton of credit too.
Yeah.
Agreed. On the fourth down call, Ira, I didn't love it. It was out of the gun.
Oh, I agree there. Yeah.
And what I would say is I also thought Tommy might have got it. And I know the ACC booth didn't buzz down, but I thought maybe it might have been worth a challenge there to see because the replay reviews that I saw weren't conclusive. So when they snapped it, I held my breath. I think a lot of people there were like, okay. And then Roy so Gene is correct. Pettibone, when you watch that replay, and I know we have it in the press box. I haven't been in the box in a while, but you can see that because it's on a delay. Pettibone destroys his guy.
Wow.
And then it becomes linebacker versus Roydell. And Roydell destroyed his guy.
Roydell was not having it.
And that was the whole thing about tonight, which is that Florida State, in moments where they're going mano a mano, was the tougher football team. That's just wild to me.
And think about individual plays. Again, like Stephon Thompson to me is like a perfect example of a guy that we didn't know what he was going to be because he wasn't going to start. And is he going to be a factor in this game? And he just blank slapped Caden Proctor to get that sack. I mean,
yeah.
And Caden Proctor's the All-American first-round pick, and now I have a car alarm going. Well, it may have just stopped. But, yeah, man, like that's pretty remarkable, right? I mean, I did not have that on my bingo card.
No, but here's what you do have on your bingo card because you committed to this: a date with a big shot on Monday night on the Monday Smash.
The
Two shots, Tom. At the meet and greet at Corner Pocket, I got talked into 2 shots. So it'll be 2 tequila shots.
Wow.
It's 2 shots. I'm going to ask something that's kind of unprofessional right now. Ira, brace yourself. It's not that bad, actually. I do have a fantasy football draft. It's a league I've been in 25 years. On Monday starts at 6. Can we do 7:30 Smash on Monday night? You good with that?
Perfect. Sounds good.
7:30 p.m. Monday night, Labor Day night on the Smash here on Warchant TV. Ira has a torpedo-sized shot glass. He's going to down 2.
Woo.
And I will be enjoying, I think this bottle is going to be gone tonight, but I'll be enjoying some variety of scotch with Ira on Monday. I hope you all join us because it's Labor Day. Yeah, but we've got a live show at 1 o'clock with the Jeff Cameron Show, and we've got a live show at 7 o'clock with the Monday Smash. Ira, anything else you wish to say before you sign off tonight?
Just that I was getting texts in the post-game press conference about Z-Chan dropping $500 in the.
Yep, he did.
So anyway, sounds like you guys were having a great time. We were in the press conference when we were waiting for Mike Norvell. We were looking at how many people were watching live. And so congratulations. I'm sure it's been a fun night so far. I can't wait to go back and watch it.
And Ira, by the way, so we've had some requests for Kegtacular 2. And what would the criteria be to be able to do? I know you and I did funnels. Jeff's already apparently committed to a keg stand for beating Alabama. We're not there yet, but I'm thinking, I'm throwing out there. You guys can discuss it on headlines on Tuesday for everybody who wants to tune into Warchant TV and watch that. But I'm thinking playoff. You get to the playoffs, I think that is worthy coming off a 2-10 season to another Kegtacular. What do you think, Ira?
Listen, man, I need redemption from my funnel exploits. You nailed the funnel. I did not. I want some redemption. So yeah, I'm
All
back.
right, there we go. We're in. I think we're in. You guys confirm it. Headlines. Tune into Headlines Tuesday.
Wait a minute. I'm not trying to start anything, but Gene, Ira is going to request that your funnel, as the long snapper of the funnel operation, Ira wants a cleaner operation for himself in that one.
Oh, that was on me, huh? That was my fault. All right.
That was, back then maybe I blamed Gene, but now I'm taking accountability. I'm like the Florida State football team. I'm taking accountability.
All right.
Fair enough. Ira, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you stopping in.
Oh,
And
by the way, what's column? You gonna ask him what we got going? What's coming on the site here?
there you go. All right.
Oh, yeah. So there's plenty coming right now. Corey's column is already done. I just have to go edit it. So Corey's column will be up on the site here briefly. We did the Warchant wrap, so Aslan should have that up as well. And then plenty more coverage. The 3-2-1 will be coming tomorrow. I know you'll have your PFF grades tomorrow. And tons of recruiting coverage. Matt and Michael, they've been talking to recruits. Matt, I think, is going to have a story about that number one quarterback in the country for the 2027 class who is here and was pretty darn fired up. I mean, that's going to be the other fun story to really watch here over these next few weeks, is because, man, there's going to be tangible results from what just happened in that stadium.
That is absolutely
How about
true.
another Winston in the fold?
Jonah Winston. Yeah. How about that?
Ira, I know your arms are tired. I know your fingers are tired from all those keys you were punching. Thank you so much for the work. You're the best.
Good work, Ira.
And
we'll see you guys. Take care.
Talking to you tomorrow. That is Ira Schofel, managing editor of Warchant.com. He kicks ass, and that's what he's doing tonight for us on Warchant.com. Head over there right now. Gene's bonusing you up, everybody. I'm not going to even put the graphic on the screen because you already know what's going to happen. You join Warchant. It's $1 for your first week. You get a year to The Athletic as a bonus, but you also get $50 if you join in the next 24 hours, 50 bones to Garnet and Gold. All right.
Yep. And that's 24 hours. That's up. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not supposed to do it, but I'm hoping On3's not listening right now, so go for it.
There we go. All right. We'll go back to the phone lines for a couple of quick calls. I'm sorry to Spencer in Tennessee. This was after the we did the last of the cattle call. Spencer, if you call back next week or another game, we will make sure to get you on a priority level. But we now go to Joe in Tallahassee. Joe, go ahead. Welcome to the program.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, Joe.
Just want to call out to my group. You know, we are, pardon the intentional pun. I got a whole bunch of tribe full of Seminoles here. My wife and I are both double grads. I do have a question for you guys. With all your insight, you know, do you guys think that we'll see a little bit different offense when we get, you know, through the two cupcake teams that, you know, next week and then the week after, you know, and we start facing Virginia and some better teams? Do you think we'll see a little bit different scenes on offense and defense? And, you know, do you guys think, you know, with that, Alabama might just, you guys think they stink? You know, that they might not be that good. You know, they might be the Alabama of the 90s. So, you know, we've seen we've seen, you know, killing the boar and he's brand new and some things with him. So I want to hear you guys' insight on that.
Oh, I appreciate that. They might legitimately. And I appreciate the call, Joe, and your patience, because Joe waited nearly an hour to get that call out. So in case he had a refill, don't blame him, anybody. It's a night to celebrate. But Joe, that's a very good point. I think that Alabama has a real problem on offense. And Gina, I want to see if you agree with this, because they have a pass-first offense, definitely have a pass-first coordinator. Went through those numbers on some of our shows this week. But, you know, Gene, when the game was within 14 points, so you're able to scrub these data points on Sports Info Solutions. So I did. When the game was within 14 points one way or the other, all four quarters, Ryan Grubb is more than a 60-40 pass-to-run guy. He's the opposite of Gus. Gus Malzahn wants to run, all things being equal. Ryan Grubb wants to pass. That quarterback, to me, and Ty Simpson, is a runner first, and he's just okay at passing. They might have square peg round hole going on offense over there.
No, I think that's a great point that Joe made, that the Alabama, I don't think they're bad. I think they're pretty good, but I don't think they're very good. They've got some good running game. They've got some other very good aspects of them. They've obviously recruited very well the last few years, but it's probably an okay team, but I don't think that takes away from what FSU accomplished tonight. It was a very good performance. But no, this is not, and going back to what Tommy Castellano said, this was Nick Saban's not there anymore. This is not Nick Saban's Alabama team. But does that mean, are they still going to be one of the better top 4 or 5 teams in the SEC? I bet they still are. But I just don't think they're the same. And I think, Tommy, you nailed with the quarterback play. The quarterback play and maybe a disconnect with that and the offensive coordinator. It may not just be a good fit for them right now.
I'm going to get to the last round of Super Chats here in just a moment, and we really thank you for your support. But I do need to mention T-Spark Enterprises once again on this show. And T-Spark Enterprises supporting us again for the postgame show after a 2-10 season. They believed, and their faith has been rewarded. Heavy rains will wear down shingles and other elements of a roof. High winds and rainfall after a storm's wake can involve lost shingles and moisture penetration in the underlayment. This water damage can penetrate the roof deck. That is a problem. The water could eventually compromise the structure and the integrity of your home. Excessive moisture may also lead to rot and mold inside of your home, which will not be a suitable situation for the structure and health of your house and your family. That is when you want to call T-Spark Enterprises. In fact, probably on a preventative measure basis, come have T-Spark Enterprises inspect your roof and your situation in your home right now so that you don't pay large sums of money later. They're not only a roofer, T-Spark Enterprises has a general contractor license, which means if you have more than a roofing issue, they can fix the problem head to toe. They're a fantastic sponsor, and they serve North Florida and South Georgia. As Nixie says, T-Spark and Corso never left our side. That is correct. In his final pick in a Florida State football game, Lee Corso chose Florida State as a super dog, and Lee Corso was 1-0 and a champion on the way out. Who gives a crap that he put Brutus Buckeye on his head? He picked the Noles in his final game. And just like T-Spark, he doesn't cut and run when times get tough. So we appreciate our folks at tsparkenterprises.com. Last couple of runs of those who get the cha-chings in the Super Chats before we go to our final caller of the evening. And those would be, Director Nick, who do we got? John Peterson, 4598, says they had to play that dumb package about the last 2 years. FESPN, hashtag Go Noles. Gene, you referred to that. I only saw that the one time, but apparently that was a repeated issue that was going on with ESPN. They can't anymore. Wait till they play the package about how good 2025 is. That'll be fantastic. And we've got one more before we go back to the phone lines, and that will be Thomas Coker. Thank you, Thomas. You say, we took their lunch looking them in the eyes. That is true. The on offense and slashing on D-line gave them nowhere to go. Look for more tackles for loss and sacks in weeks to come. Tyson was really good at evading pressures, but Florida State.
There could have been 5-6 sacks easily in that game.
Yes, absolutely. I'll add this in for first name John, who says Bobby Bowden is smiling down on this team. I'll bet it. As an Alabama guy himself, that Florida State won today. That is a nice little touch. Our last caller of the evening, last but not least, he's been waiting for 40 minutes. Thank you so much for your patience. It's Devin in Tampa. Devin, welcome to the program. Thank you for calling.
51 minutes and 6 seconds.
You're right. It did refresh. 51 minutes. There you go. Thank you, Devin. Welcome.
51 minutes. Two biggest takeaways. Number one, coaching matters. Number two, accountability matters. Even when we went 13-0 in 2023, we knew we had holes in this coaching staff. As painful as it was last year, I think it was a wake-up call for Mike. I love him as a CEO of the program, great motivator, great guy to rally behind, but I've never been a fan of Mike as a play caller, and it really showed tonight. Even with a less talented roster than we did in 2023, I thought our offense was very good. Tommy, to me, I did not give him credit with his arm. I thought his arm was great. The only really concern that I have is just the rotation at running back. I think we just let the freshman ride and let the rest kind of spill in. That wasn't too impressive to me, but hey, we beat Bama. All the 2-10 jokes can go away, effective immediately, because if they want to say something, a 2-10 team just beat Alabama. So, Tom, if you're in Tampa and you go to a Bucks game, you're always welcome at my tailgate. Al Lopez Park, right by the bathrooms. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Al Lopez, fantastic. Thank you very much. That is outstanding, Devin.
We're both Bucks fans here.
Yes, we are. And I know exactly where that is. I've been to, dozens of games over the years. And you might find me, especially because we're rocking the creamsicles home and away this year, which is pretty cool. But we don't want to get into Buccaneers talk.
Yeah.
Let's get into Florida State talk. That's an excellent call. That's somebody who watches the game with intent. And Devin and Tampa, very, very, very good call. Gene, any thoughts on that? And any thoughts on what we're going to have to do, which is reassess what Florida State football is on the fly for a good reason.
Yeah. Devin mentioned the running back rotation. I was last year. That was one of my criticisms of many. Pretty much everything he did was wrong. That I was annoyed as hell that Toafili didn't get the bulk of the carries last year, and they kept bringing in these other players, and he never got a chance to get out there and get some real reps. I wasn't a fan of that, but I can't. I mean, the results speak for themselves. You could say, give Croma was the most impressive to me overall. We thought that going in. Most of us who've seen him, he could be the next great Florida State running back. I really think he has a great chance to do that. But you saw these other guys get in there. I mean, what Gavin Sawchuk did on that run, I'm sorry, but there's some plays that just blew my heart as a Seminole. That one did it. Like I said, that was Greg Jones-esque. That was special. And to see Keziah Holmes get out there and make some plays. Rodell, when he had to do it against his former team, he nutted up. He was a man. I mean, so I get it in theory. I think maybe as we get into the season, I think it'll streamline that. And you'll have one or two primary backs. But, man, those guys came out and played tonight.
I love Gavin Sawchuk as a player. I think he fits this offense perfectly. I was glad to see that he had a big moment tonight. I also think we had a question about this earlier about have we seen the whole offense? No. The answer is no. There's a whole lot more that can happen. I think Florida State whittled it down to what they trusted. It's only going to expand from here. And you saw
you got a couple warm-up games, which is nice.
Yes, and you saw a lot of Alabama defenders in the second level confused today with just what Florida State ran. There are more wrinkles on the way, but well done, everybody involved. And I know that we've got a here comes the money again because one of our pillars just chimed in late in the proceedings. So let's hear it.
Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
James B,
my man.
And his avatar is the spear from the concourse on the west side of Doak Campbell Stadium. I love that. He says, well, amazing what a little optimism and hope can do. Agreed, but it's amazing what a couple of really good coordinators can do.
Yeah.
And a couple of
fixing your transfer portal philosophy.
Yes.
They did that. Let's face it. One thing you should go back and look at, and I think 91 nailed a lot of it when he called in earlier, talked about the offensive line struggles. And I think to me that was number one on the priority list. But it was also you changed how you went about the transfer portal, and you started taking former 5 stars, high 4 stars at big SEC type schools that couldn't pan out there, and you brought them here thinking somehow they would work out here. No, but you went back to get players with a lot of experience who have proven themselves playing college football, had a little bit of hunger in them, and you brought them in too. So that was a big part of it as well.
And James B has been a big part of what we do at Warchant TV for the last few years. Thank you, James B. We very much appreciate you. He also said, I'm going to have a hard time not producing receipts this upcoming week on Warchant TV because James B has been very, very optimistic.
Yes, he has.
And we cannot thank you enough, James B, for that lovely and very, very generous contribution to the program. I'm going to put back on the screen just for a few seconds. This has been one of the better call-in shows we've ever had, not just because of the result, but Gene, you could feel the energy around Tallahassee. I'm still in downtown. I'm in the penthouse in downtown Tallahassee. There's a bar just outside this window. I'm not going to it, but it sounds fun. You may be
you're tempted.
You may be going to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. I don't know. You still going to go at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night? Hop in the car?
Yeah, it's early, man. How often do you beat Alabama?
That is true. As I'm looking at the scores right now, the Clemson-LSU game is 10-3 Clemson in the third quarter. So you still got a war going on.
But LSU now has a first and goal at the 5, so this is about to be tied up here shortly.
Oh, there you go. Well, see, like my game cast sucks because it says Clemson has the ball. So there, yeah, you're absolutely right. So it's a mid-third quarter, and LSU has a chance to tie it up. If you can go find a television and bask in the glory of being a Nole, go do so. Because that will also be something that happens tomorrow when Miami takes on Notre Dame. We're going to watch that game with smiles, everybody. What a gift we got.
What a great weekend this could be. Florida State beats the crap out of Alabama. National TV, ESPN sucks it. Dion loses to start the season, and then if Miami can be humbled by Notre Dame, that would just make a complete opening weekend. So college football is going to complete 180 from last year.
Let's see. I love that. SEC. We own the SEC. Very, very nice. Yuckmouth says this is cathartic after what we went through last year. Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Everybody bask in it. We've got a few more super chats before we sign off. Rubbish says, go Noles. Rubbish. That is not rubbish. That is gospel. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Ian McGregor says, we want Bama. Woo! Florida Man in Alabama says, LFG. I know what that stands for. Do y'all? Tommy backed up his trash talk, and now we get a Jeff Cameron keg stand. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
He said he was going to do it. I gave him the link for tonight. He must be celebrating on the town right now. George Holton says, here's to giving Bama a losing record. Hey, fair enough.
I want Bama to win out. I want them to win the SEC.
That is fair.
Because that means we're SEC champs again. I remember the 90s we used to beat Florida, and they kept winning the SEC. I'm like, well, I guess we're just SEC champs every year.
Hey, buddy, Bama Online is talking about a new quarterback. That's what they're talking about. I know they are because that kid's not it. Let's see. Silly Coolis. All right, very well. Says Bama started our downfall with that loss, and I believe we fixed it with that win. Full circle. Yeah, that's fair. In the middle, we did go 12-0 and win the ACC championship, but I understand what you're saying. Ryan says Cameron versus Clark keg stand competition.
Ooh.
Alliteration aside, I love that. Make it happen, Gene, says Ryan.
I'm trying to remember. Did Corey do a keg stand?
Did he? I don't know. I did. I only went for like 3 or 4 seconds. Jeff's good at it.
Yeah.
Like Jeff's very good at that. Bishop says,
I'll stick to the beer funnel.
Yeah, you're very good at that. That's an absurd skill that you have.
Thank you.
That's like when you see people who can put their arms behind their back and wrap them around because they're double jointed. Like that's you're
the late 80s and the 90s, early 90s were good for me. That was a good time.
Your funnel game is scary. Bishop says lesson for 2024 and 2025. Don't be the team who scores first, fresh out the gate. Thank you, Bishop. We might have said that before, but that's okay. Brock says, here's a little piece of that 3-legger for y'all. Go Noles. That's correct. So, Brock, Gene, just to let you know, he picked USF straight up as a dog against Boise State. He picked Florida State as a dog. Was it Miami or Notre Dame? He's got one more to go. It's well done. That's well done by Brock.
For you there, but
first name John again, multiple chats tonight, but he said, I think this team might be really, really good. This felt like 2013. Bama is good. FSU was better.
Yeah.
We deserve this, Nole fans. Yuckmouth. We can believe in this team, Nole family. Norvell got the right coaches who put players in the right positions. Unlike last year, we'll be enjoying a lot of celebratory post games this year. Go Noles. I think that's one of the big takeaways, Gene.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that in just a moment. Rude Fossa. Oh, I love Rude Fossa. I missed you. He says defense played lights out. Need to get those interception opportunities, though. Granted, the short rainfall before the half. They missed 5 or 6 chances, one of which was on the first drive of the game. I thought Jabril Rawls had a real chance in the end zone to have an interception, but Rude Fossa, love that. The final thought that we'll close with was that that previous comment, Gene. The coordinators put guys in a position to succeed. It looks like they're getting good training, leadership, development, all that stuff. These coordinators have done a very, very good job.
And I mentioned to somewhere at Corner Pocket, I forget, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't remember who we were talking to, but I mentioned, I go, given the circumstances of where Florida State was at and who they could realistically hire, I said there was not a better 2 coaches they could hire as the 2 coordinators. Look, you can say, oh, if you had unlimited NIL, maybe you could hire, I don't know, whoever, throw some name out there. But I mean, realistically, what they could do and what they did, unbelievable. I was totally sold on both guys. And now we saw what happens. And what a difference these coaches make and what they can do in terms of, again, getting players in the right position, getting your star players, offensively, we talked about that, getting a Mekhi Dancy out there to utilize his speed. Imagine that. You got a guy with world-class speed. Well, let's get in a position where he's going to get – Alabama's going to have to chase him. How about that? Look, good things happen when you do stuff like that.
They do. And it's time to wrap it up for the evening. But before we do, we need to social. Give me the sounder, Nick, please, if you don't mind. We got to pour one out for somebody who has served us as an amazing friend and member of the company for several years, and that is Ben Spicer. That is Director Ben Spicer. This is his final show. He has been training Director Nick behind the scenes as better opportunities have been provided to Director Ben. And he actually, his last official day was a few weeks ago, but he came back for these post-game and pre-game shows in order to make sure the transition was smooth. Ben Spicer has been nothing short of an amazing person to work with. And Gene, you know this as well.
Yeah.
We want to salute Ben and wish him well in his future endeavors. And congratulations to Ben on what will be.
Thanks for all your work, buddy. You'll be missed. Good luck.
Gaming on YouTube, by the way. Spiced Up Gaming, if you want to follow him, because he plays NCAA football, college football 26, and streams it online. He's a great, great guy, and we love him. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate that. Before we sign off, also, I will take that sip. Back-to-back photos, Director Nick, if you don't mind. Let's get the squirrel white catch from Bob, and let's bask in that for a little bit, everybody. I would give that credit to Bob Myers. And let's get that photo again of Tommy C with Peter Warwick and Dalvin Cook. Gene, this is like one of the great photos from Molina.
Yep.
What a fan. That's so good. Look at that. That's unbelievable.
The joy in Pete's face, man.
It's generations. Look at that. It's generations of Noles. That's why we do this. That's why we love what we do. And the last one will be this guy again because
loser.
Very much, Director Nick. All right. So, how much bourbon did you consume during this show?
I would say my Colonel Taylor is about half empty. So whatever that is, I drank about half of it, half the bottle.
This was.
So I'm definitely Ubering to Corner Pocket if I can.
Are you going for real? Do I don't think I can.
Really, Tom?
I
do have to get up early and write my PFF column.
I was at that level. It's like down to here now.
Yeah, a lot of people posting about Molina, man. We've known Molina for years. She's done a lot of work for Warchant.com, and she's a professor at Florida State. I don't know if you're aware of that. Does great work, and she shoots for USA Today for photos, and just great woman. I've known her for a long time. Very happy for her, and she loves the Noles, and she does a great job.
She does it indeed. Rick is telling me to get in the car. Well, get in the Uber and go. I'm not getting in a car. That last live read that I pulled off with T-Spark, I want people to appreciate that. That was not easy to do after having.
And they are legit. Look, they hung with us through a 2 and 10.
They did.
And I had them come evaluate my roof, and I mean, it was awesome because they sent me this long report. You want to go inexpensive, you want to go medium, you want to go all out, because I know we have different parameters and different budgets, and they laid it all out. And it was so cool because there's so many fly-by-night roofers out there these days, and they are legit. And I really respect them and thank them so much for being a sponsor.
Director Ben Spicer, his tenure is over, and we appreciate you, Director. Yeah, let's get the applause.
Yeah, let's get the applause for Ben. Thank you, Ben. Yep. Appreciate it, buddy.
Director Nick Carlisle, who is also a part of the Warpath that you can find here on Warchant.
Yeah, him and Matt Lasser. Listen to that recruiting portal stuff. That might be some interesting stuff to talk about now.
Oh, Jesus. The next
the recruiting, yes.
We might need to have a Warpath on like Monday or Tuesday. I'm not trying to assign extra work. We're all going to be busy now in the next 48 to 72 hours. But Director Nick Carlisle is going to be fantastic behind the scenes for us. And also, before I get to thanking the people that were in the chat that really supported us tonight.
You guys were awesome.
Terry. Call screener Terry is the
Terry
best. He's the best.
You and I got to have some scotch, Terry.
There it is. Gene Williams, thank you very much, man. I'm happy to. What is this, year 5 or year 6? Tonight was a good night.
And I want to throw it back at you, Tom. What Tom has done this last week, with everything going on, all the events, the sponsorships, everything else, man, you have kept the ship afloat, dude. You've been awesome. You've been our Gus Malzahn, our Tony White with the Warchant family. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope to be as buttoned up as Tony White's operation is. I'm so impressed with how Tony White performed today. Remember, everybody, we've gone through 18 to 20 months of hell. So celebrate tonight.
Yeah, man. Ever since the snow, you and I were on the air together when that bullshit happened, when ESPN bent FSU over.
Yeah, it sucked.
Suffered through that stuff, and then we suffered through all the crap that happened since then, and 2 and 10, and man, it makes it worthwhile to be here to share that with you and share that with all the great FSU fans tonight. Thank you so much.
There it is. Thanks, brother. I appreciate
We
that.
love you too, Rick Roll.
Rick Roll. Love you too, man. Thank you, Troy Noel. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Y'all are great. Okay, we would keep this going if we
we're just coming up on 3 hours, and our audience keeps growing. It's so hard to check off, but
yeah, we got to the 1,200 plus on YouTube, to the 8,100 across all forms of media. We got to say goodbye, but that's only because we got to say hello again next week after a lesser opponent. But let's get together next week here on Warchant TV around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon next Saturday. We cannot wait to be a part of your day. And remember, here's what's coming up on Warchant TV over the next 48 hours. We're not taking Labor Day off. So you'll have Wake Up Warchant, you'll have the Jeff Cameron Show, you'll have the Smash. In the morning on warchant.com, you're going to have Gene Williams' PFF column.
maybe, depending on how Corner Pocket goes tonight.
Okay. Noon tomorrow. You're going to, there's no NFL to compete
Let's
with.
say noon-ish.
Yeah, noonish. You got no NFL to compete with. You got time tomorrow, so you're fine.
Yeah.
You got Corey Clark's column that's live now or now-ish. You've got Irish 321. You've got recruiting content. There's so much coming up at warchant.com and Warchant TV. And when you sign off from this, watch the wrap. I will. That's literally what I do. When I click off and I say goodbye to Gene and the producers, I say, all right, what did Ira and Corey have to say about the game? It's time to go. If I promote anything more, I'm going to run out of gas. So
last thing, Warchant subscription right now, a few hours left. You get Athletic for $1. There we go. $1 to get Warchant, get in for a week. And then you get the Athletic subscription, which is great. If you especially like a lot of pro sports, Tom, Lightning, Mets, all that stuff, you get incredible coverage on there. You get that for free. And for the next few hours, going to throw in not $25, but $50 worth of Garnet and Gold gift codes to new subscribers on that. So jump in now while it lasts, because it will not happen again.
Thanks for the promo, Santa Noel. He says 7:30 Smash on Monday. I forgot. That was Liquid Courage that had me ask Ira on the fly if I could do 7:30.
That was great. You put him on the spot. I love it.
He had to say yes. 7:30 on Monday for the Smash, but we got Wake Up Warchant and the JCS coming up your way. There'll be more content tomorrow on Warchant TV. One final social. Everybody, cheers to you. Celebrate the night. It's been a lot of pain. Yeah. So let's enjoy the pleasure of this moment. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. For Gene, for Nick, for Ben, all the callers, Terry behind the scenes, Ira Schofel, and everybody who contributed through the chats. We love you. We'll talk to you next time right here on Warchant TV. Good night.
How about them Noles?